up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? Celtic Warrior Damon.
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
Fella.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Welcome back to our first show. That's right, Wrestling on the Rocks, where every show is our first show, because we can't get picked up for a second show until we figure out how to do this right. That's not today, nor was it yesterday.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Guys, we are at WOTR The Show, Wrestling on the Rocks on Instagram, WOTR The Show on Twitter. You can find everything about us on WrestlingOnTheRocks.com. I'm at Ref Marsh on Twitter. We're live right now on every platform we could figure out to go live on. There's ones I can't quite sort out, but we'll get there. Leah Moonlight, been waiting. Leah Moonlight has a stool. She is the norm of our show. Also, the Sam Malone. Amanda, say hello.
Hello, guys. Do we want to break the news to them, maybe?
This just popped up. Hold on.
That you asked me about yesterday?
Hold up. What does it say?
I hear crackling.
What does it say?
Like there's Rice Krispies.
Oh, you just hear crackling now? Can you still hear us, though?
I can hear you. It just sounds like there's Rice Krispies.
How bad is it for you?
It's okay. I just will think of Sting and there's snow. Like
Okay.
lots of snow. Unnecessarily.
Yeah.
That works.
Correct. So, I mean, after the first 20 minutes of using that, it degrades the audio going to Amanda, but not to our recording. We are still crisp on our live. Can I exit this thing? You can exit that thing.
Yay!
Amanda, if it's like unbearable or real bad, let me know. I'll see if I have to upgrade. But as of now, if the quality is reasonable,
It's fine.
it's just
But we'll
weird.
see what happens. Like,
Yeah, let's see how it goes.
yeah. We'll see. Technology's not my friend.
She just lost her mind. Halted the whole show for that.
But I do want an animation of snow. So, that's falling, so I can see that because
Just in general, yeah.
it matches.
Yeah, absolutely. So you'll have to let me know what it like. I mean, let me know if it gets bad, if it's hard to understand anything that we're saying, or if it cuts out at all. If it's just a weird staticky thing, that's just them. I believe what they've done is added a filter to make it bad, so that way you want to pay for the full amount to make it happen. But it really would only be paying so you hear us as crisp as everyone else does. So it's really up to you.
Yeah, I'm good.
Justin brings up a good point. Feels great to witness episode 1. No doubt. No doubt at all. Just figuring it out, pushing buttons, see what happens. How's this thing work? Is this thing gone? Hello?
I have no idea.
Yeah. Guys, we do have Miss Amanda Jane with us today, as usual, per usual. And we're going to go ahead and let everybody know now, moving forward, for anybody who's been curious about previous episode 1s and how we're doing it, Clump's going to strictly be on our Thursday episodes when he can be, along with Amanda, who will now be on Thursdays every week, covering AEW and NXT, mostly NXT and a little bit of AEW, and the news like we always do. And then on Tuesdays, it'll be me and Kevlar. Also, I'll be on Thursdays as well. I'll be on all of them. You can't.
I would
get rid of
hope
me.
you'd be on Thursdays.
It's literally shot in my house.
Yeah, but producer lady and I probably could take over, and it might be a mess.
Oh yeah, it would be a hot mess with me.
It'll just be episode 1.
We're like, girl power! This is a mess! Oh my gosh. Like this AEW women's tournament. It's a mess.
I'm just here for the slushies with Kraken or vodka.
Oh,
Kraken
hell yeah.
is a rum. It is not a drug.
Speaking of which, that's my beverage today, a slushie. But I don't have Kraken in mine. I do have vodka. And actually, this one, I'm really sad. I shouldn't have cracked this one open, but I'm using Stoli apple. It's Gala apple. And let me tell you, they don't make it anymore, which pisses me off. But it was always the best in like Hawaiian punch. Oh, yeah. It was great. It was a dull Hawaiian punch and it was good. So now I just have the cherry and that. So I was going to do Boone's Farm, but Can you believe that they didn't have Strawberry Hill? Like they were out of it. I went to 3 stores. Like, oh yeah,
Travesty.
we're out of it.
Absolute.
Boone's
Unacceptable.
Farm. So see, people do drink it. So
Yeah, everyone's
but
having
next
it. That's
time
why
when
it's
I
hard
can
to
get a bottle,
High
we're
demand.
doing that.
So is that one I Stoli? If it's apple flavor?
It's Stoli. Yeah,
I
Stoli
Stoli?
Gala apple. They don't make it anymore. It was great because a couple of years ago at Trader Joe's, they had it on sale for $7 a bottle, $6.99.
Nice.
And
nice.
I bought like a shitload. I bought a whole case.
I am having Slain Irish Whiskey triple casted. Again, this was a Valentine's gift. It is, to me, the Scotch of Irish whiskey. It is so good and flavorful and layered.
Okay.
Through the booze.
Volume, just so you know. Now you're getting softer.
The volume's actually dropping on me?
Yeah. The snow is getting louder and you're getting softer.
Oh, man. That's not good. They're really trying to push the limits here.
Whoops.
It's a pandemic. We can't pay for everything. Go to the Zoom preferences and see if you can turn up our input for her a little bit. I don't know if that's going to be good or bad, and we'll revisit this, I think, after the show. We're going to soldier through today.
Yeah.
And then we'll see. Oh, no. Come on. It's not fancy. Oh, my God. Well, thank you guys for coming through on episode 1. Winter Wolfengard, thank you for coming through. I feel like we've seen you before. Cheers. Where? You see where it says input? And there's a little bar over there? Yeah. It's already all the way up. So that's it. That's all you can do. So cheers to Winter. Cheers to Justin and Leah. Thanks for coming through episode 1, guys. We're just sorting it out. We're figuring it out.
So if you hear me go, it's because I'm trying to decipher you through the snow.
Yeah. Yeah. What? What chat is he in? Because I don't see it. You have to read it.
He's in YouTube. Oh, is this the first episode?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, this is the
That's
first
right, we're on
episode.
YouTube.
Episode 1. Winter Grit says, cheers. It's been a hot minute. I thought so, man. I'm glad to have you back coming through, having a drink with us. Let's cover some of the news real quick and then get into it, all right?
Oh, yeah. Sounds good.
Let's see. A couple things in the news real fast. A couple of birthdays. It was Ric Flair's birthday today and Corey Graves' birthday yesterday. And I just want to say cheers and happy birthday to Corey Graves and Ric Flair. Woo!
Woo!
Both those guys cracked me up. Ric Flair, soon to be father again. Let's see. He didn't say it was his, but we know. We all know. Let's see. And then this one's the sad one. Josephus, also known as question mark for the NWA, Mr. Joseph Hadley Hudson. He passed away yesterday, seemingly kind of, I mean, definitely suddenly to us, and definitely suddenly to some of the people posting about it. But I don't know if there was something else going on that, you know, that it'll come to light later or not. I mean, either way, it was a shock. It's a tragedy. I know you went to the NWA taping the same time I did. I don't know if you've been to any other ones. But I think that when I got to meet him, he was really nice and super cool. And I know you and I sat around for a long time, even after the show, just kind of people watching in the lobby. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you remember, but I definitely remember seeing him and Thunder Rosa just palling around like big brother and kid sister, and it was hysterical. And really cool. So sad to see him go.
I remember that.
Amanda,
I had met him. When did I meet him? I'd actually met him before I went to the NWA tapings because he was doing championship wrestling from Hollywood, and Ricky was doing it as well. So I made the trek to LA or Port Wainini for those who know. And yeah, he was really cool guy. But if you want to see like some of the interaction with him and Thunder Rosa, go on YouTube on her page. We killed the technology.
Probably came back online.
Awesome.
I still hear her.
If I could sing, I'd sing you songs from Frozen, but no, we're not gonna do that. No.
Boom, and we're back, baby. I think.
We're back on.
We're back live?
Cools.
I'm not seeing us live. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm looking at my Twitch right here. Here we go. Here we go. We're live again. Only the first episode.
Apologies, that was definitely my bad.
Producer thought, why would we need internet at a time like this?
Who knows?
And shut it all down.
I miss dial-up, by the way. I'm just gonna say that.
That's true. Dial-up never failed. Never failed. It was consistent.
Yeah, it told you when you were on.
That's my heel move for the day.
Yeah. So apologies on that. Amanda, go ahead and start over. I think we cut right as you started to talk about Josephus and
Oh, okay. Well, actually, while we were having technical difficulties, I found something else. Yeah, Josephus, he was a really cool dude. And if you guys really want to see that interaction that he had with Thunder Rosa, I mean, it was so cute. Go and look on her YouTube channel. And she did some backstage things at NWA. So it's really kind of cool to see. And I just saw on Twitter, and I retweeted it just now, there is a GoFundMe for donations for his funeral and some of the medical expenses he had. So it seems like he probably was sick for a little bit, and who knows?
or even if it was sudden,
Really, because
just
no
getting
one's
to the
really
hospital
said.
in
Some
general
people
was
are still
expensive.
speculating that said it could have been either a brain aneurysm or it was, what was the other one? I can't remember. I know brain
Stroke, I
aneurysm.
heard,
Oh,
was
he had
a
a stroke.
possibility,
Either one
but
of those
I
two.
don't know.
So.
Yeah.
So if you feel entertained, because I really love what Aaron Stevens had posted about him, and I will say that was a great little combo those two had. They were so fun. I
Yeah.
loved that. So that is sadly going to be missed.
Yeah, that was crazy. And then a couple months ago, we saw question mark drop NWA from his profile, and I thought, oh, we're going to see him pop up somewhere. And every time somebody was like maybe coming out, I was like, how great is it going to be if it's question mark on one of these shows? And
Yeah.
just didn't happen. I don't know if there was something down the line or anything, but definitely somebody who we looked forward to seeing again. And
Yeah.
it's just crummy that we won't. Man. So tears in our beers. We'll see you down the road, and rest in peace to question mark Mongrovia's favorite son.
Karate.
Oh, GR Lunar's in the Twitch chat. Who? He's just finding out right now. Rest in
I
peace. Yes.
Don't think he's finding out right now because I messaged him earlier about it. So
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. He has rest in peace with a question mark. Sorry. So
I think it's
thought-
it's rest in peace question mark.
Was that what he's
Yeah.
trying to do?
Yeah,
okay.
because question
Yeah,
mark
that's
is
what he's
his
trying
thing.
to do.
Just want to make
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see how it's confusing.
Yeah,
You
it can
know.
be confusing, and so was his gimmick. That's what made it. That's what made it work, man. And you know what? No one else I think could have ever made that work the way that it was. It was supposed to be a one-off. It was supposed to be just a gag that people kind of laughed at and walked away from. But that crowd ate it up so much that they could not help but keep it going.
Yeah, I'll never look at karate again, the same again.
Yeah.
They should do a
Karate.
memorial shirt with the Mongrovian flag.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd buy that up like in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I
With
probably
the
would too.
proceeds. But I don't work for NWA. I don't do any of
Yeah,
that. But that would kind of be kind of nice. So
Yeah.
I should ask. Who is the one? Is it Collar and Elbow who did like the one for Shad?
Yeah.
And I know
Yeah,
they
yeah,
did
they
one
did.
for Brody Lee. Yeah, I'll see if they can do it because a lot of people really loved question mark
Yeah,
because it was
they did.
fun.
It was fun. It was different. It was unlike anything we'd ever seen, and it just worked. Remember the sit down interview that Aaron Stevens did with Trevor Murdoch and Sean Mooney, and question mark was behind him the whole time, and almost no matter what question mark did as a response to Aaron Stevens, he could barely keep himself together because it was cracking him up so much. Like Trevor Murdoch would say something that was like shitting on Aaron Stevens, and the crowd would start clapping, and question mark would look at the crowd and start clapping. And Stevens would be like, "No, stop! It's not good for me." Like, it's good. It's great.
I'm losing you, Marsh. Your volume.
It's just deteriorating into nothingness.
Yeah, almost. It's still kicking a little bit, but I'm afraid that soon it will end. The end will be near.
Oh, we can do
Or-
that. If you change the preference over to just my mic, it'll fix that for now, and then she just won't hear you as good. Zoom.
Or should I
Zoom.
watch it on like YouTube or?
That'd be funny. You'd be delayed. What we're gonna do is the way you've been hearing producer Amanda is we're gonna cut it. It's gonna be back to the way it used to be, so she'll be quiet again.
Okay.
But at least I won't be. But everyone else will still be able to hear her just fine.
All right.
So is this better?
Oh yeah.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, it's fine, and it'll work for her too. And you can still do the switch thing just to make it fast for yourself. So so we'll just do that. We'll do that, and I'll mess with other stuff later. Only episode 1. That's when you try stuff out. It's best to practice on episode 1 when it's not like you're established or have been doing it for 2 years or anything like that. Like
Yeah,
Justin
or
Time
like
says in
Sam
the chat.
Roberts.
Yeah.
Sam Roberts follows you on Twitch.
Yeah, you don't want Sam Roberts catching an episode 1 like this. So always good. Justin Time does say, well, it's a good thing it's just episode 1, and I agree. It is. It's a good thing. It's lucky. Imagine how awful it would be if it weren't episode 1. That would probably be terrible.
Lose subscribers.
Okay. All right, everybody calm down. Amanda, you had a little more insight into this than me. There's only one other thing before we get into AEW and their news.
Sure.
Go ahead. Bring it up.
Oh, are we talking about the guy, Marty Skrull?
Yeah. What was going on with him? I saw his name floating around in the news a little bit.
Yes, his name's been floating around. So apparently back in January, Marty was at the LA tapings of New Japan Pro Wrestling. And at first it was said that he was just backstage, But now, come to find, he actually did film something backstage with Rocky Romero. What it is, don't know. What does this all mean? This could mean that he will be wrestling with New Japan. However, just before everyone gets their panties in a bunch, he's not signed to New Japan. He's not signed to anybody right now. So he's pretty much a very independent wrestler, if you want to call it that. But personally, I think New Japan would be great for him. I know that this whole, I don't want to get into the speak out movement and all that because, whatever. But honestly, my big thing, and a lot of people have come to me and said, hey, why can't people give him, the benefit of the doubt? He was the only one who made an apology. And I don't know. But I said it would be great to see him back there again. And, if that makes people not watch New Japan, then, oh, well, too bad. Like, there's things in life we don't like. Like, I don't like going to work, but, I have to. So if I want to, watch New Japan and I don't like Marty Skrull, well, you're going to have to, or if that happens. But, I think this is also because the Forbidden Door, since it's opened, that's also another entryway for him to go into AEW as well.
Right. It does feel like potentially elite. I don't know much about Rocky Ramirez though. What's his deal?
Rocky Romero is pretty much, he's been with New Japan. God, he's been with them forever. But he's actually the one gaijin, which is the non-Japanese people, he's the guy who is in charge of all of those guys. Like when they go over to Japan or now that they're doing in LA, I mean, he's pretty much running that with whoever over there. Obviously he does it in conjunction with Shibata and the LA dojo. But Rocky Romero has been wrestling for quite a long time. He's part of, if you watch Roppongi 3K right now with Sho and Yo. And then before, my personal favorite was, I loved Roppongi Vice, which was him and Trent. And that was my favorite incarnation of the tag team. So you'll see Rocky, he's a definite junior in size.
Does he still wrestle?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he does.
Okay.
You'll see him every once in a while. You'll see him pop up here and there in some of the different the tag matches, usually with Chaos, because he's part of Chaos. And then, or he'll do a triple tag with Sho and Yo. But before, if you really want to kind of see like in some of the tag leagues from probably about maybe 4 or 5 years ago, you could see him and Trent. So,
Okay.
and then you could see the progression from Trent going to the size he was to heavyweight Trent. So that's always really fun.
It'll be
They had
interesting to see how they're utilizing. It'll be interesting to see what he did there and how it's used. Like you said, it could easily just be part of the Forbidden Door thing, especially with Kenta and the other stuff they said they want to do more with NJPW. It'd be interesting. I think it definitely would. On the same vein, EC3 signed with ROH.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of all I have to say about that. I'm not interested in seeing him. I've never been a fan of him or what he does, but I'm sure he works very hard and deserves the contract like everybody else. So I don't have a lot to say about it other than cheers. Good luck.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I'm not shocked, but I'll be real. I'd rather see him in AEW than Ryan Nemeth, but we'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah, well,
But
I wonder though. I don't think, like, looking at it, and we'll get into it right now, AEW is not signing a lot of, like, fresh, hot talent, especially even the type that were, quote, underutilized, like the EC3s, Eric Youngs, Cardonas, Brian Myers, Gallows and Anderson. I know that there's a lot of those guys are over at Impact and such.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's very possible that they knew the contract, this working relationship with Impact was going to be happening, so they needed that storyline to have those kinds of people on the other side. But for EC3 to end up in Ring of Honor as opposed to either Impact or AEW, I think people might be getting nervous and just getting lost in the shuffle over there with how much they focus on the Elite and the Legends. Because as it stands right now, there's not a lot of people they're really working on that's not a legend from the past or the Elite themselves.
Ryan Nemeth, but the only thing I don't know.
He's their new jobber.
Well, no, because they still have other people who are jobbing consistently. Like, I really didn't like the fact he wrestled Aaron Solo on Dark. And honestly, I thought, oh, great, Solo's going to get his first win. No, we didn't see that. And I mean, honestly, like, no offense to Ryan Nemeth, I mean, I never thought you were that great anyway. I mean, you're not cute. I don't know. I just don't like fake moms like that. I don't. Heel move. Sorry, but I will say that he seems like everything he does is very forced, and
he doesn't feel like natural.
No, it's not natural, and it's like you're trying to be your brother. Your brother's, he is what he is, and you can't emulate that.
Yeah, and it's too close to him trying to do his brother that people are just making fun of him for it too.
Yeah.
I see people who are huge fans of AEW who don't like WWE at all, don't even particularly like Dolph Ziggler in general, and they're still calling him like not Ziggler and Ziggler Light and all that stuff. And you're all like, when you try that hard to be so close to your brother's gimmick, it's going to happen. The least you can do is try to find a completely different voice altogether, so people go, oh, no shit, they are brothers? Instead of going, why is this guy acting like Dolph Ziggler? And then going, oh, okay. But as far as AEW goes, let's get into it. Let's talk AEW. Let's get into the show, but let's get into the news. AEW made 2 big announcements yesterday, one of which was they are going to be having a new YouTube show called AEW Dark Expendables or something. And it's going to...
No, I don't think it was Expendables.
Elevated? Is that what it was?
Elevated. Yeah. The Expendables, I'm like, that's a movie with, well, I mean, AEW is like, you could say it's like a movie with all those, action heroes that, like, marquee names, like, Van Damme and Chuck Norris and Stallone.
Doesn't feel far off, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
And one of the commentators of this new YouTube show is going to be The Big Show. Paul Wight signs with AEW, and the world went nuts. And I love the AEW fanboys just being like, that's right. This is what we love AEW for. They give everyone a chance. They're bringing back the important people who were never used right. Big Show was always underutilized, never marquee, regardless of the fact he's a multi-time heavyweight champion. And they were so excited by this, saying this is so cool. On the flip side, at the same time, NXT made their announcement of 30 new young up-and-coming talents, including 10 women, one of the largest incoming classes of all time. I'm not saying one's doing it right or one's doing it wrong. I am saying if you can defend AEW saying they're giving Big Show a spot when he feels like he's not done yet and wants to keep going, okay, I hear you. I don't disagree. But you also can't say that NXT is not doing their best to give a spotlight to young talent as well when they're bringing in big classes to do mass trainings. I think it's two sides of the same coin, and I think both companies did big things yesterday for the health of wrestling. I just think that as far as AEW goes, they brought back a legend to do commentary on a third YouTube show. So I don't know how much we're going to see of him. They did say he's going to be back in the ring. Amanda, what'd you think about the Big Show?
Actually, that was kind of a shock to me, to be perfectly honest. Because at first I was like, oh, I thought he was still contracted with WWE, but shows you what I know because I don't watch the product. So, but
contracts.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, having a third show now, I guess it's good because then it makes Dark not like 4 hours long. Like they were doing great the last couple of weeks. They had Dark was like maybe a solid, hour and a half, 2 hours instead of 4 or 3. And yesterday was just long again. Oh, the other day it was long again. I'm like, oh, why am I watching this? But it's exciting to see. But really, honestly, if people are thinking, oh yeah, they're signing, WWE talent that, like they did wrong. Well, no, because they didn't sign Cardona. And I loved Zack Ryder. Woo woo. I mean, I'm a nerd.
In defense of AEW, Cardona just did a fantastic Chris Van Vliet episode. And in that interview, Vliet asked him straight up, why didn't you stay at AEW? Like, what's wrong over there? It was crazy. Vliet was awesome on these past couple of weeks. I listened to 3 episodes last night. I was up all night, hyped, because the first one I listened to was Mike Chioda, and I was like, this is amazing. I loved the stuff that they were talking about. I love how deep they got into some of the woods about refereeing and just what it takes to be a referee in general. I think that a lot of times when people interview referees, they neglect that fact that there's a whole side of it that's not just what was it like being in the ring with this person or that. It's, hey, describe what you're doing here because it's pretty wild. And so a lot of respect to Vliet for that. But then I followed up by listening to him interview, and we'll get back on track, interviewing Jason Sullivan, who is a podcast king for a long time, since like 2007, I think he said he started his podcast. And holy cow, the amount of advice he had in there for new podcasters and people who have podcasts made me feel real good about what we're doing and how we're doing it, and made me feel real motivated to keep it going and to make the tweaks that we've been talking about making. So I got all hyped up from that. I was amped. I was all like, man, Kyoto's teaching me how to be a ref. Solomon's teaching me how to be a podcaster. And then followed that up with the Matt Cardona episode where he's just hyping you up to just work hard and go through it and talking about how great it is to do podcasts and stuff. And I was like, fuck yeah!
I thought you were going to say, and then you come to our show.
We're going to have like...
oh, yeah. Then we get on our show and it goes, episode 1. I go, oh, that's right. We're not 2 years deep. We're episode 1.
I thought you were going to have an M True Tucson story or something on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But it was great. It was fantastic. And in there, he did ask Cardona why he didn't sign, and he said that he said he might go back. He said that as of right now, he didn't want to sign a big long-term contract with another company. He said, I felt like I just got out of a long-term relationship. I didn't want to dive into another long-term relationship. He's like, he even said that like after he did the couple spots that they agreed on, like the 3 or 4 shows, he said he went home and started working on his podcast stuff, and he goes, he lost track of time. He goes, next thing I knew, it was like 3 months later, and I hadn't even been in a wrestling ring. He's like, not even just wrestling, just in general. Hadn't even been in a ring. And so, in AEW's defense, it didn't sound like Cardona was open to actively signing at the time. Okay. But go ahead.
Yeah, but even there's other people too, like even on the women's side, because look at like Tennille Dashwood. I mean, I love her. I mean, I know she's, some people like whatever. I think that, that Emma character was horrible. But, I mean, she's great for, what she's doing. But yes, she is on Impact. So, I mean, but before she was on Impact, after she left ROH, she wasn't anywhere. Yeah. So I was surprised that AEW didn't go that route. So,
But what do you think about the signing of Big Show? Do you think this is going to be good? I think that it's a little early on to be too excited outside of being excited for the talent themselves. I think that at this point, when someone signs with AEW, I always get that feeling of, oh, that's cool for them. They're getting paydays, right? They're getting paid. They're going to be doing something in the world of wrestling, and I can't knock that. And I'm excited for them because I imagine they're excited to do this. But I also do not get excited for what's next, in that we haven't seen anybody show up over there and just get with a rocket ship, go to the top. We haven't seen Sting be utilized in such a way that he can't miss. I mean, honestly, you could miss most things with Sting and just catch the match whenever it happens. Like, it's not, they're not doing so much with their talent that you go, I can't wait, this is going to be amazing. You just go, okay, cool for Big Show.
it's only the Elite that they're really doing anything with. Elite, and then weirdly Matt Hardy and Private Party and whatever that nonsense is.
Yeah, I don't know.
But no, I really, with Big Show, it'll be very interesting, because I think I didn't know that he ever had aspirations to kind of do commentary, and I know that they're very picky on the commentary, because there's someone who actually I think is probably one of the better wrestlers who does commentary. Cole Cabana, like, he auditioned twice with Michael Cole and they said no. And I'm like, dude, like, the insight that this guy has is incredible. Like, what the heck? And then, but he did with Ring of Honor, he only did it just for a little. It was only supposed to be temporary, and then it just became to the point where they weren't booking him to wrestle, and he was a little irritated about that, because he's like, I can still wrestle, I want to wrestle. And I will say,
I feel like we're not talking about Paul Wight again.
Yeah. Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. With Paul, I didn't know. Like, but I think he's gonna, I think it's gonna be good. I don't know. I think, I'm interested to see if he's gonna be around Shaq next, is it next week? Yeah. Oh God, it's already March almost. Shoot. But yeah, no, because apparently they're introducing Paul on Dynamite next week. Okay. So he's making his big debut along with Shaq. And
that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I think there's a reason why it probably never happened before, and I think doing it 10 years later doesn't make me think these young pups are ready for it. It makes me think maybe time may have passed a long time ago too on it. So I mean, we'll see what happens. Justin Time is in the chat. He's got a good question. So with AEW Dark Elevate being a thing, does that just add another show people will have to watch to understand what's happening on Dynamite? That's my gut. That's my fear.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not even excited about it. I'm like, when WWE announces they're going to go to NBC Peacock, you go, oh my God, there's so many more eyes going to be on this. AEW's response is, we'll go on YouTube on Mondays too then. What? And like, YouTube doesn't signify to me big news.
Yeah.
You don't need clearance to go on YouTube. We're on YouTube right now. You got to ask anybody? No. I don't care. It doesn't feel like big news.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't there supposed to be another show on TNT?
That was rumors for a long time, and nothing's come of that.
Well, this is probably what it was supposed to be, but I don't know. But I will say this, is they say that with this new show that they're going to have opportunities, pretty much almost for everybody. I'll believe it when I see it. Let's go there with it.
Yeah, but also they've got opportunities now on their 4-hour-long other YouTube show, and their 2-hour being the Elite. Like, I don't muddy myself in that stuff, because when I do try to watch Dynamite, which I've stopped doing, because every time I watch, I go, what's going on here? And the response is always like, oh, it was in Dark. Oh, it was in Being the Elite. Oh, it was on their Instagram. Well, what the fuck? I'm trying to watch the TV. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
and now
there's
it's other blogs too. Like, you have to watch Sammy Guevara's vlog, and you have to now watch Kip and Sammy, and you have to. It's getting too much. It's like, okay, can you stop? Because nobody is gonna have that kind of time, unless if you're gonna do a network like WWE did, because you need content. But no, I don't want to watch all this crap. No. But then again, I would be a sucker if, one of my favorites had a show. Oh yeah, I'd watch that all the time. But,
Producer had something she wanted to say here real quick.
Oh, we just had chat.
What do you got? A lot of people were quick to turn on the Big Show announcement when they found out he wanted to return to the ring. Maybe. I know a lot of WWE fans were quick to turn on this and shit on it some. I'm not trying to shit on the return of Big Show at all.
Yeah.
But I do wonder, his last match he had with Orton was good. I don't know that it made me go, I hope he comes back for another whole series of matches. Like, I mean, if he wants to, sure. I don't have a problem with it. I just don't know that I'm excited about it, especially given the talent he's going to be surrounded by. Who are you going to put him in the ring with in AEW that you think is going to be on like a Randy Orton level? How much of the Orton and Big Show match do we see could have been carried by Orton in general just because, hey, these guys are both been doing it for so long and they're so good. You're going to put him in there with Matt Hardy? I don't know, man.
Yeah,
No,
and
they'll throw him in with Archer.
And on Big Show, on the Netflix show that Big Show had, I do remember every time he would kneel down, he would almost buckle. It was almost tough. It looked like it was tough for him to just kneel down, which makes me just wonder where his health is. I mean, I just don't want to see him injured, is all.
Yeah, his mobility is not what it used to be. And you could even tell on the Netflix show, like a producer was just saying, we did watch most of it. And there were episodes where he kneels down to talk to his daughters, and you can see him putting hands on things to just try and balance himself on the way down or up. And you can tell that they're doing cuts to try and cut away from some of that stuff, but you can tell. You can still see it because it's like he couldn't move without that stuff. And I don't know, maybe he's gotten surgery, maybe his knees are better. I don't know. I don't know any of that. I'm not against him doing that. I'm not against him being in the ring. I'm hesitant to think who he's going to be in the ring with that's going to be able to take care of him like he deserves to be. I wonder, do you think, Amanda, you still there?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that Netflix canceling the Big Show that was a WWE production and then WWE getting Young Rock on NBC Peacock, do you think this was retaliation? Do you think he said, that's it? If I don't get Big Show's show, but NBC gets Young Rock, I'm out. And he goes to AEW and says, I'm going to go on YouTube and be a star.
That's the worst Big Show impression
No,
I've ever heard.
When did they cancel it though?
It was a while ago.
Like right when his contract ended?
I would think
Or
before,
no?
actually, to be honest.
Okay.
I think before.
Because I'm assuming it's just contract stuff. But
Yeah,
I get with Peacock and NBC, I think you have to like realize, like, I personally can't wait for Peacock. So, because as I watch, my NXT on Hulu, I'm like, I want my Peacock and I want my theme park. But, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah.
I'm
give it
going to
time.
be on that forever. So
Give it time.
anybody, if I ever get to meet Vince McMahon, or if I ever get to meet someone in his family, or I meet fucking Triple H, you best be damn sure I'm going to tell them they need to fucking open a park at Universal. Where's
My
WWE
goddamn
land?
theme park.
God damn it. I've got ideas for rides. I can do what Disney has their Imagineers. I don't know what you can call me, but I'm open to do that because I have thoughts that are great.
That's a good point. I've heard
Yeah.
some of those thoughts, and I'm nervous about what some of those rides might entail. But
Well,
was there
but you know
anything
what?
else on AEW that you thought was worth bringing up? Because as I was looking at clips and looking for highlights, I found absolutely nothing that was worthwhile to talk about on Dynamite. So what did you like about it? And we'll talk NXT.
Well, honestly, to be quite honest, there were a couple shocking. Well, the biggest shocker to me was watching Nyla Rose and Britt Baker. Probably,
Yeah.
no offense if anyone likes these two, but two of probably not the best women wrestlers on the roster going at it. So, immediately I thought, oh God, this is going to be a shit show. I don't need to watch this, but I watched it and is actually, you could see there was improvement.
Nice.
Or
Very good.
it could be that when you have two bad people, you can't really decipher what's bad. I don't know. That I don't know. So it's either one of
Two
those.
negatives
But
make a
that-
positive trick.
That's exactly
hey,
what I was thinking.
that's what I'm saying. Like, when
They're
you have
like
two
math.
bads, it cancels each other out and it's good. I don't know. Asian math. I have no idea. But, I mean, it was actually pretty decent. So I was shocked. I'm totally not shocked at where they're going to set it up because I think it's probably going to end up being Riho versus Shida, which I don't know, that's kind of boring to me, but you know, whatever.
Yeah.
If you, that you know, I'm like, whatever, doesn't matter to me.
Did Riho
if
beat
anything,
Thunder Rosa yet?
That was
Is that-
on YouTube. Maybe. I
Someone
think
look
it's on
that up.
YouTube, or I don't know. Again, I wasn't watching the women's tournament on YouTube because
That's what I mean. It was on, I know it was on that tournament thing, but I know
Yeah.
Thunder Rosa and Riho were slated to face after that. So,
Mhm.
yeah,
I
I'm just
can't-
wondering if Riho won because I imagine that's where they're going with that too. So.
Yeah, I mean,
I
Friends
know
of
people were
Pain.
shocked that Britt Baker was out of it, but I thought that it. I mean, to me, it didn't not make sense. Like I would understand if Britt won, but I thought with a Nyla versus Britt one, either way you go with it makes sense, especially in a tournament. So I wasn't mad about it. Hearing about it, I
Yeah.
wasn't like, how could this happen? I just thought, oh, that's interesting. They're going that way.
Yeah.
You know, because I think maybe they're leading towards a Riho versus Nyla kind of rematch, and then
Maybe.
going into Riho winning again and going into Shida, because I think they keep putting Nyla as this like this mountain that's in the way, but that everyone gets past. You know, it's like, oh, it's
like Nia Jax, kind of, sort
yeah, kind of, yeah.
of. Yeah. Which is a shame
28th,
because
okay.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you know, they could do a lot with Nyla. I think, and especially
I think
if
they wasted
Awesome
the
Kong-
championship run.
Yeah, if Awesome Kong is still training like one of the women's trainers, yeah, you would think, but I don't know. I don't know if she is still. I know originally.
I do
she
think
was.
that Nyla's championship reign was wasted. But anything else happening in AEW?
Well, I got to talk about the Ricky Starks versus Varsity Blondes match because you know what I mean. I love me some Varsity Blondes. Let me tell you. Okay, I know
Also
that they
the
were just kind of
wrestlers.
yeah, as a team. I know they were thrown together, and that one worked. And I think it's incredible. I still, to this day, am going to keep saying that Griff needs the mullet instead of tying his hair back because it just would look great. But those guys have a lot of potential as a tag team. So it excites me. And it actually, if they can push that more and have them work a lot more with guys like, Top Flight and Private Party and some of those guys that haven't been around, and then throw them occasionally to, someone like a, what is their tag name? And Helico and Jack Evans, what is it? TH2?
THTQ.
2Q or whatever. Yeah. Well, have them
THX.
go against people like that. Santana Ortiz,
Dolby Digital, I think their name is.
Yeah, I don't know, but I really enjoy those two as a tag team. I would buy their merch, like, absolutely. I think that I think Griff Garrison got himself in a really great spot, and I think that Pillman, I mean, as a solo wrestler, I think Pillman, I don't know, he's all right, but I think he really shines more as a tag team, and I think that the two of them are absolutely great. One thing I did want to say, and I'm not saying this because, friend of Ricky's and, I love Ricky, but that he can sell like a mofo. Okay. And I was really impressed with, just some of the stuff that he did. Like, there were things where, when a guy gets thrown outside of the ring, there's always that when the guy's going to go back and he's going to do a tope suicida or something, there's always that weird, like, I don't know, 10 to maybe 30-second like pause where obviously they get up and they position themselves where they're going to be for the spot. But Ricky, it was really interesting to see him actually go in and kind of do some character work with it rather than, okay, I'm just going to move over to the spot because I need to be there.
Yeah,
and
100%.
I loved it. It was incredible. And even Brian Cage, I was very impressed with him too. Like, he was also another one who was selling like a mofo. And I don't necessarily think of Brian Cage as, he's big,
yeah,
whatever, but he's pretty fluid, and he actually in his own weird way sells very, very well. And you saw a lot of that.
disregard a lot of his stuff. When you really break it down, this dude's like kind of claim to fame was the Lucha Underground, so this guy can move. And second to that was all the intergender matches that he lost.
Yeah.
You got to be able to sell if you're selling to people a third your size, you know what I mean? And make it look believable and make it look good. And I've only heard good reviews about Brian Cage intergender matches, to be quite honest.
Yeah. There are some great ones I've seen with him and Tessa Blanchard. Holy crap. And I mean,
with him and
sometimes
Delilah Doom was supposed to be really good as well.
Yeah. And sometimes you think, oh, when you're wrestling someone like, a Tessa Blanchard, you're like, yeah, the guys, whatever. No, I mean, it was like she was one of the boys, and it's that incredible. Just sucks. I think that unfortunately she's not going to go anywhere. I heard her dad is wrestling next Wednesday.
Yep, Tully's coming back to the ring next week. Very exciting. I don't know how I feel about that, other than it's nice for him if he wants to. And I don't think they're twisting his arm to do it, so I'm happy in that regard. I don't think they would approach Tully and say, "Hey, do you want to go to the ring?" and he would do it if he didn't want to. So he probably's been ringside a lot and thought, you know what, it'd be fun to tussle a little bit. Let's do it right though. So I'm kind of excited for that regard.
Yeah.
What do you think about all the stuff with Sting afterwards?
Yeah, I'm sure. Oh, yeah, and then did you see the clip? You must have. The one thing that everyone loved about that match after when Sting came out, the zip line.
Yeah, I don't.
Darby Allin doing a zip line.
I didn't like it one bit.
From the top of the rafters, because Sting points up, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you see Darby coming down like he's I don't know.
I don't like it at all, but it's fine. It is what it is.
It was weird, and I'll tell you why I think it was weird. I think it's because had Sting not pointed up, and all of a sudden you just saw Darby like kind of flying from nowhere like he was Tinkerbell, I think that would probably have been more exciting and more whoa.
That's true.
Or if he had put on a skateboard things that he could have strapped the skateboard to his shoes and came and did some kind of
hoverboard type stuff.
Hoverboard type thing, Tony Hawk, that video game skater dive from back in the day. Yeah, that would have been cool, but no.
I gotcha. So seeing what Sting had done in the ring, and he got a little bit, he did his splash and his death drop onto Brian Cage. Do you think, because I'm still hearing people say it, I think people still think it, they're still saying the street fight's going to be a cinematic match and Sting will not be taking bumps. I don't know. It looks to me like he's really itching to be in the ring and not in a cinematic match. What do you think? My gut tells me it's in the ring.
I'm torn on it, to be honest. I kind of had a feeling that Sting was going to do something in the ring. It's obviously, he bumped last week. What's he going to do this week? He's obviously, someone's going to get it. I didn't know it was Brian Cage, but I was pretty, I don't know. I'm still thinking it's going to be cinematic, because I think that, already you're going to have at Revolution an exploding barbed wire match.
Yeah.
Unless, and that's live, but unless they cinematic that one. I mean, you can't have.
Why do you think there has to be a cinematic match? They have a live audience. They can't be doing cinematic matches.
Well, look, I mean, you got to think of it this way. It's like, there's only so much I think that Sting could probably do, because unless the match is going to be like a squash match and it's only going to be a couple of minutes long, I don't think that he can go more than maybe 10 minutes before he starts getting gassed. I don't know.
Fuck, Jericho can't go for more than 2 minutes without getting gassed. They put him in there for 40 minutes all the time.
Jericho is flubber, though. He's all flubber. Okay.
Yeah, and Sting's wearing a baggy shirt, man. I don't know what he's got going on.
Well, because he's got shit underneath it. I'm sure he has protective gear underneath it.
I hope he
Chris
does.
Jericho, what you see is what you get. You get, jiggly shit. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. I don't think they're interested or give a shit to protect anybody. I think they just are going to put out whatever the talent wants to do. And if Sting says, I want to do a match, they'll do it.
No, I don't know. No, I think I'm more bothered that they're trying to go into death match than probably like maybe Sting wrestling or Tully wrestling or things like that.
I'm not even totally bothered by it. I just think that I'm not believing in a cinematic match anymore.
I don't know. I would think it would be just because, okay, it's a street fight. What? Okay, there's no streets over there. I don't think. I don't know. I've never been to Jacksonville, so I don't know people.
That's true.
But-
They should have done parking lot brawl.
Yeah, so it's not going to be like a parking lot brawl. What are you going to do backstage? Backstage is in the street. So, you kind of
Yeah.
shoot yourself
Justin's in the
there.
chat.
so-
Just says Sting didn't look too good either. He looked gassed after doing those 3 moves, which has me concerned. I agree. He didn't look spry afterwards. That's for sure. He also says he thought Cage did a match with Jordan Grace that got good reviews as well. So,
Oh yeah, that's right. He did do one with Jordan Grace.
but
That's
there's
right.
those. Apart from that, he is saying the main event was pretty good, minus Rey Fenix looking sloppy at some points.
Yeah.
The one thing that makes no sense was why did Archer and Phoenix have to qualify, yet Cody, Scorpio, and Penta didn't need to? Tony put out a tweet in a response to someone who asked that question, and it was something along the lines of, well, Cody, Sky, and Phoenix were 3 of the first people to sign contracts with me, and they signed the contract. And then now because it's such a big match that people want to be a part of, I can't just throw everybody in it, so they have to qualify. And I was like, what? No, it's just that you didn't make... Yeah, it didn't make any sense. So he was all like, well, I put them in the match first, and then now other people want to be in the match, so it's like, well, I might as well make them qualify. I'm like, well, fuck, dude,
Okay.
I'm not... Someone responded to that. I saw several people respond to that saying, this is brilliant. This is amazing. This is why you're the best booker of all time. You think things through and thoroughly. This is long-term storytelling right here. And I was like, what are you talking about? You just made that up because you didn't know.
I want him to let me book matches. Shit, at least they'd be fucking great. But no, that actually, I didn't know that someone asked him that, and that actually kind of pisses me off because you're the first people who, well, one is your EVP, and your EVP obviously likes to have his nose in everything. So obviously, yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
Scorpio Sky, he got injured and whatever, and he was kind of on a little bit of a rise, and we haven't seen him much. Kind of get that. I don't buy the bull crap about, he's under contract really early with me. Okay, whatever. And then with Penta, him and his brother, aren't they a package deal? So that doesn't make no sense. Like Tony Khan, I don't get it. Is he like smoking some really good crack? And it's that like high level rich people crack that,
I
never going to have in our life.
The reality is, because there was another thing he said later on when someone asked about why, I think it was why Lance and Art, was it? It might have been Lance Archer and Rey Fenix. Now that I think about it, if this is right, then fuck that. Let me see if I took a screenshot of it. Because,
Sorry, while you're looking that up.
Yeah,
I know.
Producer here. I just think it's really odd that the head of the company is answering these tweets of basically explanations. You shouldn't have to explain through your tweets and your press releases. It should be on TV, in storyline, explained through story.
Yeah, shouldn't be a tweet, but I found it, and you're going to love it. You're going to love it. Everyone in the chat's going to love it right now. Justin, buckle up. Because he responded first to the tweet saying that's the reason why. Because those 3 signed the contract first, and now more people want in the match, and I can't have that. Then he says this in an interview. Tony Khan on Booking versus Ratings, he said, that's a match, Archer versus Phoenix. That's 2 of my personal favorites. Some weeks, you're just going to see a match that I think that is an awesome, awesome match. And it's not about just trying to pull the biggest number. So realistically, he tweeted trying to come up with something that made no sense, and then in an interview said, I just think it'll be a good match. At least that's the honest bit. I've been saying that for weeks. I've been saying that since episode 1.
Well, I guess now, I mean, it's been almost 2 years.
Yeah.
He can let down that curtain and
Just
it's what
admit
I
it.
want to see. I'm like,
Absolutely.
okay, well,
I don't know
Yeah,
if there's
I mean,
ever been a curtain.
okay, that's cool. If I had a lot of money too, damn Skippy, I'd be booking shit I want to see. But you also have to think of, well, just because you want to see it doesn't mean everyone else wants to see it. Like, for example, the one match I've always wanted to see was Marty Scurll versus Colt Cabana.
Okay.
Now, I knew it was never going to happen.
Okay.
Both of them had told me on
Alright.
separate occasions. Never gonna
All
happen.
right. I'm not going
See?
to let you derail this way
No,
again.
no, no. I'm not derailing. I'm just saying that once you have it, it's like, oh, and it was not that great. So I'm saying, yeah, if you had the money, yeah, cool. But sometimes when you get what you asked for, sometimes it's not going to be the greatest thing. And that was probably one of the sloppiest Rey Fenix matches I ever have seen. And I kind of fell asleep during it.
So I mean, that's the point right there, right? He just said, I'm going to book matches that I want to see, not what I think is going to be popular. But you're a TV show. Shouldn't you want people to watch it? He was like, I'm not trying to pull the biggest numbers. You're not? You're not trying to. You're not trying. You just said, you go, I just want to see the matches I want to see because I want to see them because I like them. And then they go, well, what about the TV show on your national television contract where you're telling them you're trying to do the best to bring in the most viewership? But I wanted to see the match I wanted to see. Like, that's what it sounds like. And then Justin Time's in the chat saying, so he completely contradicted what he said in the first place. Yeah, Tony Khan is smoking something. Well, maybe. But, yeah, it's a complete contradiction. And at the end of the day, just say what we've been saying, because I've been talking about it since the beginning, that all these matches just seem so thrown together. I was like, I think it's just him fantasy booking just matches he wants to see for no reason. I just want to see those two in a match together. But he doesn't care how we get there, and he admitted it. He doesn't care how we get there, and he doesn't care if it's popular, he doesn't care if people wanted to see it. As long as he wants to see it, it's the same audience of one that you get in every other company that's run by one dude. Just a different audience of one, man.
I don't know.
Sorry.
Oh, has anyone asked him about his stupid ranking system? Because I would love to see what he says about that now. Like, it doesn't make sense.
I want to know why we're doing a ladder match if we have a ranking system.
Yeah,
why is every week a
exactly.
new number one contender way when you have a ranking system? When was the last time number one went against the title? Go ahead.
And also, that TNT belt is not defended every week. I mean, it was great when Cody had it because he did actually defend it every week, but it's not. So it's like, I would understand, yes, you need to have a ladder match because you need more people in the mix because you have depleted your rankings list. But yeah, no, because I don't understand how they justify it. Like, you have Starks, who's been, pretty much he was going to go after that belt. And now it's like, you got kicked to the curb, buddy.
Yeah.
And, it's like, what's that all about?
Yeah.
Now, the other thing about the match too, that ladder match, there's supposed to be 6 people in it.
What?
And if I don't know, I do math, if I do math right, okay, you've got the 3 that, were the first ones he signed. Okay, yeah. He's adding 1 more that day. They'll know that day that they're wrestling. And then the winner last night. Well, where's the 6th person? Unless Tony's going to come out.
It's going to be figured out on Dark Elevate. Someone will elevate into a position where they can get number one contendership.
But that doesn't air until March 15th.
I don't know. I don't understand
after
contracts. Producer had something she wanted to say real quick.
Oh, I imagine Tony's the kind of person that doesn't play video games for the story. Whatever video games he plays is just...
Yeah, he doesn't play story mode. He just puts together the random matches. Let's see. Let's wrap this up, though. I don't want to sit here and shit on Tony Khan all night.
Well, here's one more thing to with Tony Khan. Did you see the this week's paid advertisement?
I have only seen screenshots for the past 3 weeks, and I can't stomach enough to actually turn it on.
Okay, I watched it because I was like, why did he have all these people on there? Yeah. He had basically people from who wrestled last night, pretty much. And it was just, I'm like, are you, I think he's really living the character with now just thinking about all of this stuff that he said and the contradictions. But then also, I don't know. I mean, is he, and I'm going to go there with Nemeth again, because Nemeth was on there. And I'm like, dude, are you, it's like, I wonder if Tony, because I don't understand why Ryan Nemeth is there. So is it only because now that we know that Tony books what he likes, is like, oh, okay, I like Dolph Ziggler, so I'm going to use, Dolph Light over here, his brother, because that's like the next best thing. I mean, I don't know. And because, I mean, I don't know. I don't think he's a good wrestler. He's kind of obnoxious. He doesn't sell very well. So, and I thought that when I saw him wrestle in LA a couple of times. And then he stopped wrestling, and I thought he was done for good because he was going into comedy and doing what his brother couldn't do. He made a film, but no. So
Actually, I heard the film might be dope.
the
You did
film
that film
is
called
cool.
Heel? Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it. It's cool. Yeah.
Is it good? Oh, yeah,
Mhm.
cool.
It's no Boone the
maybe that's
Bounty
what this
Hunter.
all is. It's what?
Maybe. I said it's no Boone the Bounty Hunter.
Oh.
But- I liked Boone the Bounty Hunter.
I wonder if the whole thing here is that he's here doing all this so he can just get more eyes on the idea he's got that film coming through. It wouldn't surprise
Maybe,
me.
I don't know.
Just in
know.
Time does say, I would love to see what kind of BS Tony has to explain on why he's completely going against the rankings that were supposed to be a big deal. 100%. I think someone should call him on it. Hey, why do you have a number one contenders match every week in battle royals and ladder matches and tournaments when you have a ranking system to determine your number one contender, and why hasn't that been utilized in probably 6 months? And he'll go, I want to book what I want to book. I like what I like, and I watch it. I play games. Let's talk about NXT.
Yes.
NXT.
Okay, before we talk about NXT,
Oh no.
can you tell me the lineup of matches so I know which one I didn't get to see? Thanks, Hulu.
Oh yeah, we forgot to do that.
Waiting for Peacock.
It opened up with let's see, video clip. I think it was a Karrion Kross video clip it opened up with, but then it went into all the stuff with the Way with the Gargano and Loomis.
Mhm.
Then it goes into some Indy Hartwell stuff. What the hell? Oh my god. This is really long. I'm scrolling through. Let's see. Then we had Tyler Rust versus Leon Ruff.
I didn't get that.
Did you get the Cameron Grimes stuff? Did you watch it on Hulu?
Yeah, I'm watching Hulu. I don't have anywhere else to watch it right now until Peacock.
If you have the Hulu app, you can download the USA app and log in with your Hulu credentials, and then you can get the full show.
Well, shit. God damn it.
But
Now you tell me.
Did you watch the Zoe
Well, I'm gonna have to do
starts?
that then.
yeah, you're gonna need to do that because there's a lot you missed. I went to go watch on Hulu today too because I didn't stay up all night to watch it last night, and I realized over half the show was missing and went back to USA
I
so
told
I could
you.
watch it. It was
I've
a
been
lot
telling you,
missing.
like, you lose like 2 shows and probably 1 or maybe 2 vignettes.
Yeah. So we'll just go through it as we go through it, and then if you hadn't seen something, I'll just let you know about it. But
Okay.
and we don't need to talk every segment in depth, obviously. But it did open up with a bunch of stuff with The Way and Johnny Gargano, Dexter Loomis in a match, Austin Theory acting like a child, Indy Hartwell thinking she's funny, Candice LeRae being the actual funny one in the group. A lot of bad comedy. I got a theory. I got a concept. I got an idea.
What's your theory?
Okay.
Amanda, is The Way just NXT's Inner Circle? Just awful, shitty comedy that's dragging down some really good talent?
I think so. Or it could also be said they could also be like Dark Order. Because
But I don't look at
now
these
they
guys-
really clearly don't have a leader.
Yeah,
Because
that's-
I really don't think of Gargano as a leader. I think Candice wears the pants in that family. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
But I just feel like that you had Austin, Indy, and Candice who were all doing really well in their own kind of characters with the serious attitudes. And I'll give you, they weren't doing so well. They weren't in the main event picture. They weren't doing well like that. But they were having good, believable matches, and they looked good in the ring. And there was something behind their character you wanted to know more about. They then get paired up with Johnny Gargano, who thinks being a bad comic is great work. I think that it's stale and stupid and hard to watch. He looks like community theater. And I'll give you this, I think Gargano's better than that. As much as I've talked about not digging Gargano stuff, I loved Gargano in the beginning. As we were going through it, as we got through DIY, as we got to the other side during the Ciampa rivalry, it wasn't until the Chicago street fight that I just really stopped caring because I thought, oh, this guy just can't get the job done. They had conditioned me to stop caring about him because he never won a match, and he literally lost a match to a guy handcuffed behind his back with no hands, and he gets DDT'd with a guy with no hands. and then loses. And I thought, well, this guy just can't win for shit. Why am I cheering for him so hard? So I'll tell you, I think that he's really good, really talented, very skilled, and I think that this is a horrible use of him. And I think his bad comedy is rubbing off on other people because I think they're looking to him for approval. What if I do this? Wouldn't this be funny? He goes, oh, it would also be funny if you do this other worse thing. And so to me, it's awful comedy that's dragging down really great talent. You have top-tier talent in a faction, and they're opening the show and making it like an easy-to-miss opening of a show. And you had him against Dexter Lumis in a tremendous match that was distracted by was shitty comedy. That's how I feel, Amanda.
Yeah. No, I feel you. But here's the thing with Gargano. Okay, and I think I might have said this on an episode 1 before. On episode 1.
Sounds
but
familiar.
I think, like Candace is kind of, I don't want to say stuck, but unfortunately, like she can't really move on because she almost validates his existence, if that makes sense. So I don't know. I get kind of like, okay, yeah, you're the guy, you're like the 20-year-old, junior in high school. Okay, you're never going to graduate, but eventually they're going to have to let you go because you're too damn old. You've been there too damn long. But
I was in 8th grade with someone who had been doing 8th grade for the 3rd time. It may have been Gargano.
Maybe, but what do you do with him though? Do you send him to 205 Live with those guys? Because there's nothing really for him on the main rosters.
I agree 100%. I don't know why he has to be on TV. I'm gonna just flat out. If you think he's this good, and you think he's that skilled to be with people in the ring, and you're not even really performing in front of much of a live crowd, what's the point of putting him on TV? Give us a break from him. Have him disappear. Let him coach people for a while. Let him work with people in these classes. Let him teach. Let him be there all the time. But then in a few months, have him come out and people go, oh shit, it's Johnny Gargano. But we're getting him every week, and I'm not even watching him at this point. I've stopped. I wasn't paying attention during this match. I turned down the volume when he starts picking up a mic. It's just never funny, and it's not good. I turned on the show just to get going. I saw it was him, and I was like, oh, well, I might as well go get some drink or something.
Yeah, his comedy is Street Profits.
I only watch Candace, to be honest. Like when I was watching the match, I was like, okay, can we just fast forward through this a little bit? Because
she's good.
She's good, and everyone else is good, and this is just kind of dumb. And I'm like, all right.
They're all too good to be doing this.
Yeah. And it's like, are you overdoing the comedy because Dexter Lumis doesn't talk? Yeah. I don't know. That's what I was like trying to think too, and try to figure that out too as I was watching it.
Yeah, how weird's that for Dexter Lumis? He's trying to figure out this whole character to have dimensions with it and not be able to say a word. You can't even hide behind a mask like Kane. Kane just had to move certain ways. He's got to do shit with his eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, they're all so good that shitty comedy's not to me the solution.
Yeah. And now with the new class, there's 30 people they're bringing in. There's a lot of great talent on that.
And
so
they are not
you guys either got to hit the bricks or,
Yeah, their talent.
I don't know.
Their new talent is good.
Go out behind the barn and get shot because, your time is up. I don't know. I know. So it's, I know that's horrible to say, but no, seriously, because there's people that are like, I want to see, I know it's probably not going to be his name unless they announced it already, but like Christian Casanova. Okay. Yeah. I'm dying to see him and what he can do and what he can bring to NXT. But, when you have someone like Johnny, who's like basically hogging some spots here, it's like, dude, like, what are you doing?
No, I don't
know. I mean, because, no one wants to see you and Ciampa again. I mean, I kind of rather would watch him and, Thatcher do whatever they're doing, whatever weirdness and coolness.
I wouldn't be against Gargano against Thatcher with Ciampa in the corner, kind of coaching him around and moving the storyline that way. It wouldn't bother me.
That would be good.
I thought I saw in the Hulu cut the MSK video. Did you see that?
Yes, I did see the MSK video.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
You followed up shitty comedy by just making me bawl. just making me
know.
sob like a baby.
Or did you sob because of the fact that the thing before was so shitty? And
I was
you're like,
already
oh
crying.
my God, I'm emotional already. Yeah.
So we
Right.
still don't know what it stands for.
I was already crying, and then it shifted into a different type of crying because of MSK.
Mm-hmm.
The way he was talking about his dad and stuff, I was like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Good luck ever turning heel, you assholes. There's no way I'm rooting against you guys.
They can't be heel. I mean, they could try.
Idiots.
They can't because there's no way. Like I cannot
No, forget it.
with like Wesley, okay? I cannot picture him as a goddamn heel. It doesn't work for me.
Oh yeah,
It
well, I
doesn't
mean, they
work for
haven't
me.
turned heel. Let's not go too deep in the woods on the heel
Oh, I know,
business.
but even
But-
if they were to, it's not.
Yeah.
You know, it's difficult
It'll
because
never
they're such likable people.
They're
That's
so
the
likable.
problem.
Nash
Yeah.
Carter in his John Cena shirt talking about watching Monday
know.
Night Raw every week with his dad.
Hmm.
And then when his dad passes and he's a teenager and he goes, like, he turned to wrestling just to stay connected to his dad. I was like, oh, fuck's sake.
Yeah, that's when the waterworks came out. I was like,
Oh,
oh
yeah,
God.
forget it. I was
Yeah,
done
yeah.
for.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Why doesn't AEW give me emotion like this?
Yeah, I cry for other reasons there, too. But,
Yeah.
man, MSK, incredible. Incredible. And then they come out to tell to say a little something on the mic. And they get jumped by the grizzled young vets, and you hate them all of a sudden. You're just like, no, you fuckers! Like, they work you into a tizzy because you're like, there's nothing that makes me happier than MSK in this moment. Grizzled young vets show up, jump them, and you're just like, those dirty sons of bitches, and you just want them to go down. So I mean, it
I didn't
worked.
get that feeling.
What?
That wasn't my feeling.
What'd you think?
The-
What'd you say? Oh, this
got
is
it.
good.
Well, I got it. No, I got a little stiffy because I was like, oh my God, MSK versus Grizzled Young Vets 2.0, because the first
Oh
match was
my
just
God.
so fucking phenomenal that I'm like,
Okay.
I want it again.
Okay.
I want it right now. Like, I mean,
Hashtag bad
that's what I got
dragon.
out of it.
Yeah,
It was
you were
not like,
saying
oh, I
that.
hate you. I'm like, oh God, this is fucking gold. This is money. Money. It's raining money like Okada bucks. It's raining. That's a rainmaker right there.
No. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, obviously I was excited about the idea of getting MSK versus Grizzly Young Vets again. I didn't have the same physical reaction, but I but I was so easily worked in that because I was like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? And then I was kind of like,
You
well,
were
I'm supposed to be upset.
You were
But at the
emotionally.
same time, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get me invested. Make me care. And you know what? Nash Carter made me care.
Mhm.
Plus, he retweeted my drawing and said sick, and I'm like, he's my best friend.
They're good people.
All he said was MSK versus Grizzled Young Vets Part 2. Yes, please.
Yeah.
You're like you're acting like the let's play.
They're
there other
so, they're
chats happening on
so
the
they're
other-
so good. I mean, Jesus.
There's-
I mean,
it's so
I
good.
hope. I'm hoping that in this next class they're gonna put Alex Zane and Blake Christian together, because I would love to see them versus MSK.
Yeah,
Talk
I thought
about,
that too.
and I've seen an incarnation of that before, but talk about next level tag team type of wrestling. That's going to be like huge, and I hope that the powers that be over at NXT see that, and I'm hoping that Regal and Triple H had seen that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I
So,
hope so.
I'm hoping.
Hope so. Let's see. I still haven't seen anything that led me to believe that we are any closer of knowing what MSK stands for. Is that correct?
Yep.
All right, good. They did have Tyler Russ versus Leon Ruff. I know that got cut out of the Hulu version, so you didn't see it, but it wasn't much. As Leon Ruff was coming out, Isaiah Swerve jumped him and just beat the shit out of Ruff. That's all it was. So it wasn't really a match. It was just a thing. They did have a video clip beforehand of Leon Ruff in medical and Malcolm Bivens jumping up from behind something and being like, oh, let's do this. And then he cut a little promo where he talked about Leon being a diamond in the rust. It was good. It was good stuff, but it was just moving along that story. So we'll see where it goes. Did you get to see any of the Cameron Grimes stuff?
No, it's a new Cameron Grimes stuff.
Oh my God, there was so much new Cameron Grimes stuff. So Cameron
I'm
Grimes
sad.
starts off. He's
sad.
watching the $1 Million Man do the 10 dribble thing to the kid. And as the kid starts to dribble, he turns off the iPad and goes, "I've seen enough," and goes over to some dude and he goes, "I bet you $1,000 you can't dribble 10 times." And then the guy dribbles it 10 times and he's like, "Back!" and gives the guy $1,000. And the guy's like, "You should have finished watching the $1 Million Man video." He kicks the ball out. So then Cameron Grimes thinks he's smart. It goes to another segment later on, but the story that was told throughout this thing, he goes back and then now he asked somebody in the was it like a parking lot?
Mm-hmm.
Dribble 10 dimes for $1,000, and it's this tall lady. He's like, "Well, just because you're tall doesn't mean you can play ball." And then so she starts dribbling. He like winds up his leg like a cartoon, and as he like run towards her, she's like between the legs and back and forth and just really good with the basketball. And then she takes $1,000, and he's all like, "Fat." And then, actually, I missed the third clip of him, but he was doing the $1 Million Man thing out there, man.
That
And it was hysterical.
man, freaking Hulu. That just sounds so great. Comedy, when done good, is amazing. Johnny Gargano needs to understand that because I love
Yeah,
it.
he's fun. Cameron Grimes is fun.
I love this whole thing. Did he get a new car since he wrecked the Lambo?
I didn't see a new car, but I think there was one. When I think about it, I think I saw a screenshot of one.
Okay, I was just curious because I didn't know if the Dodge Viper was coming in yet. Because I think he had an Instagram post with the car. He said he missed the Lambo. I saw that today. I think that was today. But yeah, no, I didn't get to see that. That's gold.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
Yeah.
It was great. They're taking, Cameron Grimes is going, right?
To the moon.
To the moon! I bet you couldn't guess. Let's see. After that, though, they did have Zoe Stark versus Io Shirai.
Mm-hmm.
Was it for the title or not? I don't think
it was non-title.
No, but it was just the match that Regal wanted to have. Oh, real quick, Cameron Grimes' new gimmick, according to Just in Time, is hilarious. Jamie Noble meets the $1 Million Man mashup. It's hysterical. 100%. 100%. I'm so bought into Cameron Grimes right now, and he's not even in the ring, but let's see where we go with it because I'm super excited. So you saw Zoe Stark versus Io Shirai?
Yes.
Oh, so good.
Awful, right? I was kidding. I was just kidding. It was awesome. It was amazing.
It was actually pretty. It was pretty damn cool. And I was like, why isn't this a title match? That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I was like, why isn't this a title match? Or is this just to say, okay, look what the future is? I don't know. But
oh yeah, I think that's what it was. I think that they were. It's one thing to have Zoe come in and win in a squash match. It's another thing to say, let's see you with Io Shirai, because here's the thing.
Yeah.
How many low-level card matches can you give with someone and make it look like much versus this one match with Io Shirai really solidified that Zoe Stark is at a different level than just your average person starting, which is fantastic. Yeah. And I think that's also true of her. When we saw her at Mission Pro, we were watching the first pay-per-view they had, and she was in the main event. And I remember saying on that show, and I was like, of all the people here, obviously besides Thunder Rosa, and I was like, I don't understand how this lady is not signed. She is ready. She is TV ready. Her and one of the refs. And there was other people I liked. There's a lot of people I saw potential in. Other people I thought, they're good. They'll get there. Oh, this person's definitely on their way. Oh, I didn't realize this person only been wrestling this long. I would have thought a little bit longer. But she was the one that stood out to me as, why is this person not on TV already? So I was really excited that she gets to NXT. They see her wrestle a little bit, and they said the same thing. Makes me, one, feel good about the way I look at wrestlers, and two, really excited for her to get that opportunity to show up. Justin says, and I'll go back to you, Amanda. Justin says, Zoe Stark is really impressive. Never seen her before her debut last week, and I'm already becoming a fan. She's awesome. Go ahead, Amanda.
I was with the match. I was like, this is the caliber of women that they're getting. This is all I could think of. Was this the caliber of women that they're bringing in? They already have. And it's kind of scary, because is there going to be a changing of the guards soon on the main roster with a lot of these women? I think so. I think there might be. Because I know, like, one thing I really want to see is I want to see Taya Valkyrie versus Io. But I don't know if we'll get that, because I don't know how. I mean, Taya's good to go. I mean, I don't know why would even be in NXT. And if it is, it's for a hot second. But, like, I want to see that match. I don't know why. I just kind of do. Just after seeing this one. And it's phenomenal to see that there's these really great talents that are there. And then you look at the shit show that's the AEW women's division, and you're like, night and day.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about last week with you guys.
Yeah.
Was something's wrong when you got talent this good not going over there? Is it that? And I saw someone bring this up, and I thought it was a decent enough point, but they did mince up a lot of the talent because they threw in people like Rey Mysterio, and I was like, guys, an Edge, because they're like, AEW didn't sign and listed a whole bunch of people, and like I said, some of them they listed were like Edge and Mysterio, and I'm like, look, they're not getting Edge and Mysterio, okay? But and they said, but they signed Sting and Big Show. But I think the sentiment is there. Like, when you look at this new class of talent and you take into consideration MSK and Blake Christian, who was the one signed before them?
Alex
Maybe
Zane.
it's just the women. Alex Zane. When you look at ones like that, and Ben Carter, but then again, supposedly Ben
Christian
Carter,
Casanova.
according to Ben Carter, he had signed with NXT UK before he even appeared on AEW. But they're not signing these people, and I don't know what it is. And is it because they were saving up to take a Big Show and a Sting? Is that their big push because they have enough talent as it is, they feel? And maybe that's so. Because I saw someone else defend them saying, yeah, they don't need 10 more women. They need to focus on the ones they have. Maybe. Maybe so. But when you have someone like a Lacey Ryan on the indies, but, Zoe Starks now, who may be available and is appearing on your shows on Dark, why would you not say we need that kind of talent around these young talent who need work, So, I don't know. Something's up because Zoe Stark is incredible and showed up with Io Shirai, and I loved it. Total badass.
I can't wait to see her against people like Shotzi and, Tony, just to and even Candace, because, obviously with Candace, I mean, because she used to train too, that would look like. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's going to be pretty incredible. I mean, there's a lot of really great matches that we're going to see her in. And again, I mean, this is like, people are like, oh, if you want to invest in women's wrestling somewhere, NXT's the place to go. I mean, hands down. Yeah. But I think
for sure.
to say, to comment on your thing about like, oh, are they, when they sign people like Big Show and stuff, I think, no, it's like, I think right now the problem is that for whatever reason in Tony Khan's, like, whatever, his cracked out mind, we'll call it that, I don't know, he's made stars into people who really should not be stars, or people that, are very popular now that should not be and have no reason to be. And that's what handicaps a lot of the things, and that's why you see the same shit all the time, because honestly, like, I don't want to watch Luchasaurus every week, but we have to, because I
think they should do a little less than there should be more variety based off what's on.
There should be. There. And I mean, and honestly, but with the women, it's like, I think the women know that, oh, well, they really only care about Britt Baker, and they have, Big Swole, but shit, we hardly ever see her.
Yeah, we haven't seen her in a while. They did have a segment here. I don't know if it was there in Hulu or not, where they showed up backstage with Gargano and the rest of the way doing more comedy stuff.
No, thank God.
Austin Theory said that he thought Dexter Lumis was misunderstood. Indy Hartwell said that he thinks he's pretty cute. And Candice and Gargano were like, what the fuck's the matter with you guys? And made it into a bigger comedy skit. I liked the idea of Austin Theory and Indy Hartwell warming up to Dexter, but I didn't like the comedy, as it were.
Yeah, no. Thank God I didn't get that.
Yeah, it was not awful important to see.
No.
They do have. Oh, I guess the competitor he found outside, now I'm looking at it, was former WNBA star Anriel Howard. A recent signing to the Performance Center. Okay. Cool.
That's their Jade Cargill, huh? Okay.
That's, well, maybe so. Maybe so.
So we're gonna have. Are we gonna have Charles Barkley go and be her tag partner, and Charles Barkley's gonna wrestle him and his fat ass?
Yep, and they're gonna face Triple H and Stephanie. Let's see. There was a Casey Catanzaro match against Xia Li. Did they cut that?
No, we didn't see it.
You didn't see it?
It seems like, yeah, no. It seems like they always cut one women's match and one men's match.
I think they cut more than that in this one. I'm gonna send you this little GIF right here because this was fucking crazy. This match was really good, actually. It had a lot of back and forth.
Okay.
Kaden sells so good. She sells like, as much as I don't like people comparing too many people with who they're with as far as couples go, I do think she's been picking up some good stuff from Ricochet as far as selling goes, because Ricochet sells like crazy. That dude folds in half. He dies for a minute, comes back to life. You know what I mean? Ricochet comes out of pins like he was drowning. Like, you know, like it's amazing. But Casey, same thing. She's also super flexible, so it made this spot on the stairs that I just sent you possible. It's incredible. Do you see it on Twitter?
Hold on. Okay, I just got it. Hold on. Okay. Let me see here. Jeez. Yeah.
Nice, right? Crazy spot.
It's so right there. Totally. Yeah.
Exactly.
No. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Call me crazy, but I love that kind of selling. I don't know. I think that independent wrestling was, and even like WWE in a lot of places, it's like everyone loves this no sell bullshit. And I'm like, no, come on now. This is, it's stupid,
Yeah.
I'm like,
do it. Do the thing.
You need to sell. And, Ricochet is probably, I think, one of the best that's out there right now. I mean, he's a great one, So this happens in the match. They go back in the ring. Xia Li's beating the shit out of Casey, gets the win. Or they don't even, they call the match. The referee, Aja Smith, she calls the match. They won't even let the match continue. Kaden Carter goes in there, yells at Xia, then slides back out and goes and yells at her mentor, yells in her face. Xia Li looks over and nods. Looks over at Casey, who they're starting to pick up, and just roundhouse kicks her in the head. She drops, and then she slides out of the ring and points to Kaden and says, "You're next." And I'm like, fuck. Oh.
This is awesome.
Wow. Oof.
Xia Li is a murderer. Let's see in the chat real quick. Justin does say Stark versus Moon. Sign me up. Zoe Stark versus Ember Moon could be fucking fire. And then he says Xia Li has become such a dominant threat in the women's division. The new gimmick was such a fantastic decision. I agree. I think people who saw her in the Mae Young Classic, I think people saw something in her there. I know that when we saw her in the Royal Rumble, I remember we took note and said, there's something special about this lady. She's good. But we just didn't know what it was. She came in, did a few things, and we're like, okay, this transformation, that is it. This is killer. This is amazing. And cheers to Leah Moonlight for subscribing to us. Guys, you can subscribe to us too. Give us the old like and stuff. But you can go to Amazon Prime and link your Twitch Prime and give us a free sub for you. But it buys me a drink. And if there's anything I need, it's one more drink. Go ahead, Amanda. What do you think about this transformation of Xia Li and stuff?
Yeah, I love it because it's also not just because it's so different, but I think it adds a new dimension to what her skill set is. And that's why I enjoy watching her. It's really shitty that Hulu keeps I swear they must not like her or something, because it seems like the last couple of weeks her matches are the ones that get cut.
Typically speaking, and I don't know why, but it seems consistent, and that's why I stopped watching on Hulu. They will cut women's matches and tag team matches. That's been a pretty consistent thing. I remember specifically I stopped watching back when, way back when Bayley first got called up to the main roster, and it was around the same time that Bray and Matt Hardy had become tag champions. So it was right after WrestleMania 33. Now I think about it. No, 34.
Which one was 33?
No, 33 was when they made the return. So it was like 34. It was right around that time.
I only know them by where they were at.
Yeah. So it was around that time, though, that time frame where I thought, like, oh, Bayley hasn't been on here. And then after Matt Hardy and Bray won their tag titles at like 35 or whatever, they I don't know, 34. But I remember thinking, I was like, it's been like 6 months. Why haven't we seen the tag champions? Turns out they'd been on every week, but they were getting cut by Hulu. So Hulu, when I went back to rewatch what some of the stuff was, it was all tag matches and women's matches, all of them. So it's like, oh, well.
Yeah, no. It seems like the last couple of weeks, I don't see anything with Leon Ruff, and I don't see anything with Xia Li. That's been the case.
This time they cut Cameron Grimes. I think, did they also cut Killian Dane, Drake Maverick versus the Grizzled Young Veterans?
Yep. I didn't see that.
It was a pretty good match, too. And after the match, Alexander Wolf walks over to Killian Dane as he's carrying little baby Drake Maverick. And he goes, "What happened to you, man? You used to be a monster." And then just like, walks away. Squeaks as he walks away.
Man, I miss that. Jesus.
Yeah. So then you just see Killian Dane looking at him like, me. So, but so that happened. It was a good match though. Otherwise, Grizzled Young Vets getting the win because, you know, they're leading up to go back against MSK. And then it had the final match was Escobar and Karrion Kross in a street fight. This was fucking cool, man. This was brutal. Karrion Kross looked like a fucking monster taking on all three dudes over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
Good. I don't think it made anybody look weak here. And I think when you have a heavyweight going up against a cruiserweight, there's a lot of opportunity here to make someone look like a fool. And I don't think anyone came out here looking anything but strong and brutal and vicious.
Yeah. Everyone was, it was funny because when I was watching it, I'm like, this is brutal. Like, if you didn't know, like, for me, I was like, Jesus, like, I was just like, wow. I mean, I know Kross is great, but like to see with these three guys, it was like, everybody was on, and even with Scarlett too, and her her weird whatever. I mean, she was selling that shit too. I mean, it was really weird. Like, it's like she going insane? Is she having a nervous breakdown over there? What is going on? I mean, everything was just, damn, this was like high level. Like, this could have been on a takeover, I think. And I just because of how powerful everybody was, and then the commentary too just added to it as well. So
they were putting them over so good. I love the
they did, like,
NXT.
Yeah, and then I had to laugh. The table actually did kind of explode, and not like, yeah. So I had to kind of laugh about the table, but I just was like, wow, these guys are, there's no losers in that match.
Yeah, not at all. And whatsoever. I really thought, I was like, man, how do you do this match and not make Karrion Kross look like an idiot getting jumped by everybody and all these guys that are smaller than him? And I was like, but how do you make Karrion Escobar not look like a stupid, tiny cruiserweight champion? Like, why would you do this? I was like, this feels like it's going to be impossible. And then they did it, and I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Everyone here is so good. Justin Tom says, absolutely wild match. The spot where he threw Mendoza and Wild through the plexiglass fencing was insane.
I was like on the floor, and I fell off my chair. I was like, fuck. I'm like, that is like amazing. And just
I was eating and watching it, and I like spit out a little bit into the bowl where I was just like, oh shit. Like, cause it got me. I was like, it looked
and any time Kross was throwing one of the guys against like the plexiglass or that where the people were, I was like, good God. Like, Jesus. If I were on the other side of the glass, I would be totally fucking nervous that shit's gonna fucking break and fall on me. Because it was that powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, wow. So explosive.
So good. It was amazing. And I'll give you that there's a little bit of a silliness to have a street fight that has to end in the ring. I never like it when it's like, hey, you guys can fight anywhere, but you have to end in the ring. It's like, well, it's a little silly. You have to drag yourself back into the ring. Come on, let's just let pins falls count anywhere. But they did it in such a way I didn't even mind.
Yeah. The way they did it, I mean, if they had not gone through the plexi, the two guys, it would have been, okay, whatever. But no, that's what made it like, okay, I'm not mad that it's not on the street. I'm not mad at all. Yeah.
That and the idea that a lot of times those like, hey, you got to get back to the ring, they start getting really obvious and weird and spotty where people are like walking back because there's like, I just want to go back to the ring. This one came off like people who were trying to get to the ring because they just wanted it to end. I have to stop this. You know what I mean? It's so good. So good. Lunar's back in the chat. Let's see. Oh, well, I don't have anything else to say except where do you think they go with Karrion Kross? Do you think they have him go towards the world title?
I don't know.
He never lost it.
Because
and I don't know what else we're doing with it.
I don't know because it again, I mean, there's so many really good people in NXT. It's like, what are you gonna do with everybody? Like,
I'll be honest, I just want Karrion Kross to go to like Raw. Or SmackDown.
Yeah. I mean, he's already beyond ready for it.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, but it's just like, are you gonna drop the hammer with it? And I get, why they want, people, to go through NXT and go through the Performance Center because, they have a certain way of doing things. Yeah, I get that. But there's just some people that have that quality to them that regardless, it shouldn't fucking matter. It's going to be great regardless. So I think that we get that. And,
I know the characters are dramatically different in so many ways, but I do think of the presentation of the entrances as being quite similar. So it makes me wonder if there would be a weird conflict about having like Karrion Kross on the same show as Bray. Like, I wonder if you have to put him on SmackDown just so you don't have Fiend and Kross on the same kind of thing. But at the same time, you don't see Fiend very often. They've done very good about that.
No.
But also, at the same time, yet again, another same time, every time. Yeah. Bray, we don't know what his new entrance is going to look like. This dude just got set on fire. He's going to come back. Something's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I think that they could live in harmony on Raw, and that would be fine. I don't know, for some reason I feel like SmackDown, and I don't know why I feel like this about SmackDown, but I just kind of feel like, well, it's like sometimes it's like that's where you send someone to go die.
What? SmackDown's the best show.
But sometimes that's what I feel like sometimes. But that's when I used to watch it. Okay, that's why I stopped watching because I was like,
no, now it's the best show every week. It's the most fun. Justin Time in the chat says. He says he feels like everyone Kross faces is just time filler until they get ready to put him back in the title picture. And I agree. I just think that at this point, I don't know how excited I am to see him in the title picture. I just feel like he's kind of beyond all that in a weird way. But I'm not against it either. Clearly, he's going to have amazing matches with anybody up in that title picture. Producer, something she wanted to say?
Here we go. I was just going to say how excited I am to see the new talent that they're bringing in. And how it seems like they're really getting people who want to be there. Like that's the thing that stands out to me because I think it was one of their new women coming in, Cora or something. She had tweeted out, her picture where she's wearing the property NXT shirt, and she said, "Oh, when I was 12, I bought a mock-up of this shirt because I just really wanted to be a part of this." And and then I also think about MSK and the story of, him watching SmackDown with his dad, right? And then it's just like they're really getting people who want to be there, which I think is just fantastic.
Yeah, this isn't, I guess it's an interesting thing, right? Because there's the conversation about fans becoming wrestlers, and then now you have a bunch, like Fan even said, you got more marks in the back than you got in the front and all that. But I do think there's something there that, if done right and shown in the right way, becomes really relatable, and that the passion will start shining through when you have people who dream of this literal moment and not just people who are willing to accept any wrestling fate as long as it's within the wrestling business, which is so many people. And there's a lot of people who take on wrestling just as a business because they like the idea of it as a business, and they didn't really grow up liking it much. I mean, kind of AJ Styles, when you really look back on his career, he's talked about it before. He didn't really grow up watching wrestling. He had friends who wanted to go learn how to wrestle. He went with them, fell in love with the act of doing it, and wanted to make it into something. And I mean, clearly he's one of the greatest to ever do it. So you don't have to grow up a fan to give back on the same level as these others. But I do think that there's something really nice about that. Yeah. When you see people who do get to live their dream that way. Cheers to Kuro coming through. Amanda, what do you think about this fallout thing with Adam Cole? He comes out and says he's going to make things right and do things, and then he punches Roderick Strong in his little nuggets, his little Roddies.
Poor Roddy.
Poor little Roddies.
Poor little Roddies.
Getting the old Jacob's ladder treatment. And I guess Finn Balor came out, but I mean, I don't know. To this thing in and of itself, the whole Undisputed Era thing, I'm not talking down about anyone's performances in it, but from a viewer standpoint, I feel like we're going through the motions to get to where we're going. I don't feel invested dramatically. They're all doing a great job. They're doing a really good job with everything they're doing. I know Klump wanted to say that he's annoyed by Roddy's voice, which is funny. He wanted me to make sure he said that. But
leave Roddy alone. Gosh.
Yeah.
Poor Roddy.
But as far as this goes, I'm not any more invested in this than I was a week before. I know it's going to be the same next week. I feel like we're going through the motions to get to whatever match we're getting to see Adam Cole wrestle for 45 minutes. And I don't know. It's fine. I know a lot of people are super into it. It's just not me. What do you think about all of it?
Well, like Adam Cole, he's always going to be a little weasel, a little shit. So, whatever. But I'm liking the fact that obviously with Kyle, they're doing a lot more with him. And I really just hope that, he's not going to fall back into doing tag, because honestly, I think he's just way more talented than that. But yeah. I don't know, because you sit here and you've got with these guys. I mean, they could. Well, actually, I don't know where Roddy could go. To be honest, if they move him up, he's not going to do anything. Yeah. I mean, bless his little heart, but I mean, he's just not. But I don't know. I mean, I really think that it is a little slow. It feels a little forced, but at the same time, it's like, well, what else do you have? So it's almost like that Gargano situation. Like, okay, don't really have much for you, but we want you around. So here's what we're gonna do, and until we can figure it out. Yeah, that's the impression I get.
And Justin's in the chat saying the whole Undisputed Era is fantastic. This whole Undisputed Era story is fantastic. I do feel like it's trying to go the Gargano Ciampa levels of storytelling and emotion. And I don't disagree with that. Again, these aren't characters I was invested in to begin with. I've never been a fan of the Undisputed Era, and I know that I'm in the minority there, so I don't want to talk poorly on it. I'm excited for what it is for the fans of Undisputed Era, because I get that and I see that. I'm just not personally into Adam Cole in the Undisputed Era at all. I've always was a bigger fan of Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. I liked Roddy Strong, but I was a bigger fan. I actually remember when I first saw them, I started really noticing them when they actually became the tag champs, where I was like, holy shit, Kyle O'Reilly's something else. And he was the one I really liked and thought that would never break out, to be honest. And he did. Yeah. And I thought it was amazing. But I've never been that invested in Adam Cole or anything. So when the stories are revolving around Adam Cole, I kind of check out a little bit. Just not into it, but I get it. I think that he's doing great for his fans, and I think his fans are eating it up, and I think that he's doing the best that anybody could expect him to do. I get more interested in the Pat McAfee stuff, to be honest. I love Pat McAfee. I think Pat McAfee's he's spot on every time. Future Hall of Famer. Yeah. He was right. Pat was right. # Pat was right.
Oh, I know what news we forgot.
What?
Parker Birdwell. No. Coming over.
Yeah, we talked about all the signings.
We breezed over it.
Yeah, but we talked about him a week ago.
Right.
Oh my God. Do you want to talk about Parker Bordeaux?
No, they made an announcement finally, and everyone's blowing up, and we're like, oh yeah.
Well, yeah, because Triple H said they signed him like 3 weeks ago.
Saying who?
We talked about it. We talked about it on episode 1. I mean, I'm excited for him. He's dope. He followed me back and everything. He tweeted. He DM'd me even. Oh, that's wild. He DM'd me. After he followed me, he sent me those fucking emojis, and I was like, what? So I DM'd him back. He didn't respond, but he DM'd me at first. I was like, is he DMing everybody emojis too?
Oh,
It was a fucking guitar and 2 stars. I was like, all right. So I drew up a picture and sent it back to him, and I was like, fan art, and he just like ignored it. I was like, okay, well, hey, he's got like 60, 70,000 followers that he's following back. I don't expect him to see them all. But yeah, he seems cool. He seems dope. I love that he's able to create so much hype around himself before he's even literally done anything, even remotely near a ring. So it's like really cool. He's a master of this Twitter game. So I am excited about that. Hey, was there anything else about NXT that you want to talk about?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Well, I don't know. Is it me or like with Adam Cole? As of, I don't know, maybe late, he's gotten really stale.
He's been stale to me. So let me talk about this then. If we're pretty much done recapping AEW and NXT, let's throw this out here. We got a little bit of time here. I know. Bishop from Terrible Wrestling Takes is probably at this point going like, sweet, this episode's ending early. Psych, we're going another hour. Fool. But so there was a conversation going on, and I was wondering what you were thinking about it. Well, maybe we'll ask Clump at some point. I don't think we talked about it much, but there's a conversation saying that NXT, as was created, is in and of itself a failure, in that the design of NXT was to be a place where NXT built superstars for the main roster. It was a developmental of what would be mainstream stars. And instead, what it ended up doing was catering to a niche indie audience with a lot of talent, albeit incredible, not able to translate on the main roster. So in that regard, is NXT a failure in that it found a niche audience who happened to love it and catered to them versus maintaining the vision of creating Raw, WrestleMania level superstars for the main event? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Interesting question. Well, I don't think, there's the way I look at it is, if you look back originally with NXT and who's now on the main roster, it wasn't a failure. Unfortunately, because a lot has happened in the independents the last, I'll say between 2014 to 2018. There's a 4-year span that there was such amazing talent that was everywhere, that from Europe, Japan, a lot of those guys at that time, Hiromu, they were doing their excursions, wherever they were, like in either Mexico, the US, or wherever. And I think that the times really changed because you've got these people that are really talented, and they're the ones almost that people are more interested to see, because all of a sudden you get this really big rise of people are, oh my God, they're totally, watching New Japan. I mean, look at the Bullet Club t-shirt. I mean, that thing, all of a sudden, you'd go, I would go to a show and there'd be maybe one person who was wearing a Bullet Club shirt, and then all of a sudden, fast forward another a year later, half the audience is in a Bullet Club shirt, the original one.
Yeah.
And to me, I think it's not a failure. It just evolved into something that's greater. Now, how it fails is more on, I think, with the main roster, because you've got guys that are there that have been there for so long, and they do it a certain way that it's hard to integrate the talent with that. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see, when you see, I know we're talking about MSK and seeing the Usos. Okay, well, the Usos have been around for a while, and they do the things the WWE way. So it'll be interesting to see that experiment of what can they do together. And I think that's the problem. Ricochet's kind of hidden a little bit, but it's like, dude, like he's got a lot of talent there. That was like a big one. That was a real big shot to the indies. Like, you got Ricochet. That, like, whoa, I mean, what are we going to do now? Like, because all the other flippy guys are awful who are left, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not a failure. It's just more of, well, the catch is, once we get this talent, what are we going to do with it? Who's it going to mesh with? Because I don't see, like, if I were to think of, can I see a match of, like, I don't know, like Cross and, versus, I don't know, Orton? No, absolutely not. Everyone, sure. Hated John Cena's 5 moves of doom. Orton's got him too. It's stale. There's no way these guys.
Everyone does. Think of any of your favorite wrestlers. They all know 1,000 moves. They do 5 because once you're on top, you can't risk getting injured because you have to stay on top. They've talked about it a bunch of times. Here's the deal: I could see Cross with an Orton. I could see Keith Lee with an Orton. I could see Damian Priest with an Orton, but I can't see an Adam Cole with an Orton, or a Roddy Strong with an Orton, or a Gargano with an Orton. I think that there's a mix, and I think that the failure is in that, like Keith Lee, I don't think he had any business being in NXT as long as he was. I think him being in NXT was a hindrance to him, because I don't think it helped him having a bunch of matches with tiny guys. Because once he got to the main roster, he had to have matches with Randy Orton and Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. But all he's been having matches with is Johnny Gargano and Ciampa. Yeah. That wasn't helping him. You know what I mean? So I think that I don't think that there is a failure necessarily in that our talent coming over who are ready or main event worthy. I think they have them there. I think the problem is they keep some of them too long. And the people like Keith Lee and Cross and Archer, those guys shouldn't be there very long. Dijakovic shouldn't be there very long. They should be there enough.
Way too long.
Way too long.
Yeah, he was there way too long.
They need to be there long enough to what? Bronson Reed. He shouldn't be there. He shouldn't be there right now because what's he going to do? Have a bunch of matches? Walter's a special case, I think.
Yeah, but still, even with Walter though.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the best matches I've ever seen Keith Lee do have been with, like, whatever Donovan Dijak's stupid name is on WWE, but him versus, like, Walter. I mean, these big guys, because you're like, holy shit, like, this is a lot of beef. The ring's gonna break, and we're gonna die because you see that. I don't want to see, like, Keith Lee versus, I don't know, if it was like Keith Lee versus Leon Ruff, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? That's what I would say. Are you fucking kidding me?
That's what I said when it was Keith Lee versus Adam Cole. I said, get the fuck out of here. And I was supposed to buy into that fucking 30-minute match of Keith Lee pretending that Adam Cole was killing him. I was like, fuck out of here with this, man. Keith Lee versus Gargano. I was like, get the fuck out of here with this. Like, I don't need it. It's not helping him. No one's going to go back and watch the Keith Lee Adam Cole match. They're going to go back and watch Keith Lee versus Drew McIntyre. You know what I mean? And if you've got to get up to the main roster to start taking away some growing pains, like, so I think that in that regard, NXT might be a failure for the people who truly are the main event talent. Yeah. The people who truly will go on there to be in your main event scenes. I don't think Adam Cole is headlining a WrestleMania. I do not. I know that Daniel Bryan is like the go-to for people to say, well, he did it. The small guys can do it. Daniel Bryan did it. Rey Mysterio did it. Okay, who else? Because last year, the main events were Undertaker and AJ. So maybe AJ, right? Yeah. You had Bray Wyatt and John Cena, big. You had Goldberg and Braun Strowman. You had Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar. Those were your main events.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The year before that, who'd we have? We have, like, Seth Rollins was in just a match there. But I mean, even then you get Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar the year before. You get Roman versus Drew McIntyre. You have Roman versus Undertaker. You had Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar. They want marquee names with big visual standards that you can splash out on a football commercial and have guys go, oh, I want to see those two dudes fight. Yeah. You're telling me you're going to put Keith Lee next to Adam Cole for a main event of WrestleMania? No. People are like, oh, I'm just going to crush him. Not even bother. I'm not saying that we as the hardcore fans don't say, like, oh, this is going to be a long match. It's going to be competitive. People who are glancing to see if they should be getting Peacock are going to look at that and say, that's dumb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It is like, because when you look at Adam Cole, like he came from ROH. You're main eventing over there, but main event with an ROH is completely different than, anybody else. I mean, it doesn't even, sometimes it doesn't stack up to a Raw or a SmackDown. Let's go there. But I think like with him, what he was really riding on was he was riding on, because he was at before he went over, he was on that cusp of the elite. He had the Japan rub. That's kind of what was the attraction there, I think.
Yeah.
And obviously PWG favorite. Those were the buzzwords. Like when you knew like Regal was there or someone else, you knew that someone is getting talked to right now, and someone's going to leave very, very soon.
But it's for
most
NXT,
likely,
which is not main roster.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, that's fine and dandy, but there are some who are genuinely like a true star. Now, I know with Riddle winning the title, I think that was dumb, because Riddle, I don't really think, and there's a lot of people not going to like what I'm going to say, but I mean, come on, like what he does, it's like, no, it's like, you can't, if you're to put him up against like I don't know, like a Bronson Reed or Keith Lee or something like that, it's just like, dude, that's not believable in a way. And it's like, it just doesn't, it's like, you're not that kind of a player, dude. You're maybe mid-card at best. Maybe.
Well,
but even
but
that,
he's got that mid-card title. But I think the question comes down to, like, even when you had Adam Cole versus Daniel Bryan when they did it on SmackDown, I remember during that match thinking, man, Adam Cole's even smaller than I thought, because Daniel Bryan's bigger than Adam Cole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know people were all like, oh, but they were like eye to eye. Yeah, Adam Cole was probably taller than I thought.
Yeah, but Adam Cole's not built.
No, he's not built. And Daniel Bryan was big. Daniel Bryan looked like a big dude next to him. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So I think that, like, I wonder, this new NXT Evolve that they're doing, this new weekly show they're going to be having on Peacock or whatever, I wonder if that's going to be the true development to feed into NXT, and what's that going to mean for people who, I'm sorry, just are not of the size or charisma to be stuck in NXT. Jared Lunar says, what are you talking about? NXT produced WrestleMania main eventer Drew McIntyre. He went through there, and that was my argument too when someone brought it up. And I was like, well, let's look at it. Let's see everybody who's gone through NXT in the main roster. Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn.
Yeah, but
AJ, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but his position now, like Drew McIntyre, he left and then came back and was that, because, like, I'm sorry, he went up, he was like 3-man band, 3MB.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not main eventing anything. That's just like, we got to give you something, you and Heath and Jinder something to do.
But NXT brought him back up to a level where they could put him back there. You know what I mean? But that's what I mean. Like, most of their main event scene came through NXT, and I think also arguably, or maybe
he was never really. I don't think he was really main event talent. It's not until he went back and he was back in England and he, and he won the ICW championship and was ICW champion. That's when.
But that was before he went to NXT. He went to NXT.
Yeah, that was before he went to NXT. Yeah. They wanted that back because they saw it. Like, Regal saw in him, like, oh shit, maybe this guy really does have something, And if it takes someone to leave and do it and come back, then that's what it is. I know some people, like, when they, a couple of years ago, when they went from, WWE, whatever they were with, and then they went back on the indies, a lot of them were just like, I'm just going to wait till I go back. They're going to call me back. And Brian Myers, for a long time, was never called back. And then finally he was. And he jumped on that,
Yeah, but that's the point. That's what I'm saying, is that NXT was a good finishing school for Drew McIntyre to get him back ready for an actual main event push. You know what I mean? But for everybody, it's not the same. But that's what I mean. I think the argument is interesting because if you want to look at it strictly from the men's side, then there's people you can argue with on the fence there. If you want to look at it from the women's side, there's no argument to be made at all. They're absolutely making women wrestling across the board much better. There's, I mean, Charlotte, Becky, Sasha, Bailey. How much do you need to know about who came out of NXT? You know what I mean? Asuka came through NXT. And you can always argue some of them were, had careers before to a degree. But at the end of the day, if you look at the women's division, you can't argue that NXT is creating incredible content now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you look at the men, I think it's interesting and a fun conversation, almost just a fun thought experiment to be like, well, almost every single person came through NXT at this point. It's almost hard to say that it's not successful because who didn't come through NXT except for the legends? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think with one of the women, I think that NXT really kind of, I think that they just kind of shit the bed with her. Was Deonna Purrazzo.
I mean, disagree.
No? You don't like Deonna Purrazzo?
I remember every time I saw her in a match, I thought, I heard she was better than this. Same with Emma. I remember every time she was in a match, I remember always thinking that she was being outperformed by whoever she was in the ring with. Yeah. Same with Deonna. To be honest, even watching her Impact matches now, I don't see it. So, I mean, it's fine. People love her. She's the champion over there.
Maybe it was when she was with Ring of Honor, she was really pretty good. But
maybe it was who she was in the ring with.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? And both sides of that. Maybe the matches I saw with her, I mean, didn't she have a match with like Charlotte? So maybe that's why she looked like shit. Because everyone looks like shit in the ring with Charlotte. Because that's what Charlotte does. So
I don't know.
I'm not even. Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, I've never seen it. And then when they let her go, I was like, okay.
Yeah, no, I thought that, just because what with her and all the submissions and what she does is so much different than a lot of the other women. It's just like you're giving them more of a diverse
like
set
stuff.
Of women's with skill. And,
cool.
I would think that that's kind of what you'd want to have. But like with the Evolve thing, because I was just thinking about it, I think that's probably where like you're going to see Gargano go. You're going to see Adam Cole maybe go that way because they all worked with Gabe Sapolsky and these were all like dudes that wrestled for Evolve. Mm-hmm. So I think that that's what you're going to see is you're going to have guys like that work with these newer people who aren't at the level to, hey, let me bring you into NXT right away. No, you need to, yeah, because the only, like for me, Ricochet, the only thing that he really should have done and why he should have stayed in NXT is he needs help with the mic. Okay. I'm like, do not give that man a mic. It's freaking awful. I'm like, oh my God, I have to change the channel. I'm like, nope.
I think he's been getting a lot better, but you haven't been watching the product. But
I don't know. That's a stretch.
To your point, when he hit the main roster, he didn't seem ready with that regard at all. I do think he's a lot better, but he's still not bringing home everybody.
Yeah, he's not
every
polished.
promo. Yeah.
And I think that hurts him. I think that really hurts him. But but he's just so damn good at everything else. It's like, yeah, that's your flaw. But I mean, he needs a lot of work with it. Yeah, there's quite a few people I think that, that was the one thing. Because I was thinking when he signed, I'm like, great. He's going to learn, he's going to learn the art of the promo and be a lot more comfortable with the mic and not be yeah.
But then again, did NXT fail him because they helped, they shined a focus on his wrestling and not really pushing him on promos. So he gets to the main roster and he's not ready on promos and makes him stall. So I don't know. That's what I mean. I think it is an interesting thought experiment. Is NXT failing? Is it actually making people ready for the main roster, or is it holding people back from the main roster in a way, or is it just like a teeter totter where you just can't tell what the hell is coming out of NXT at this point? Just because they come out of NXT doesn't mean they're polished. Some of them.
Yeah, I don't think but I think the new crop of people that are coming in, like an MSK, because obviously they were on Impact.
So good.
All right. You get people like that. You get I'll even go there with Cross. I mean, Bronson Reed, well, he wasn't on TV, but I mean, you get these guys that, I'm like, I don't know why you're keeping people there like Thatcher and things like that. I'm like, dude, like Ciampa is like, geez, are they just keeping you down there just because? Or, I don't know, but it's really weird. But I think that when they do that Evolve, you're going to see at least Gargano definitely, and probably Cole are going to be, that's the way I think they're going to head. They're not going to go to the main roster. They're going to head that way because they worked with Gabe and for years. And I think that that's where they're going to be, is they're going to develop newer talent. I mean, that's just kind of how it is. I mean, it's, the indies now, there's so many people that have talent. And a lot of times, like right now, I think there's a lull because the majority of the good guys or people have been signed. The one that haven't, they're like, oh, woe is me. And I'm like, well, you really do suck. One, two, you're just a horrible person and you've got something that, like the Tessa situation, you can't get along with people. Why do we want to bring you? Why, yeah, you're talented, but you're going to cause a ruckus. Why are we going to do that? It's not worth it. Well, and I think that, right now, as we replenish the next couple of NXT classes, you're not going to see these like loaded classes. I don't think so, because almost everybody's gone.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
I mean, I think who was it? I think it was Warhorse tweeted out something about there's still a shitload of people on the indies. I think it just makes everybody have to step up. And so I'm not super concerned about that, especially during COVID times right now. It's not like you have a shitload of indie scenes and a bunch of shows going on that you have to fill up. So I'm not worried about it, because I think that by the time that COVID starts opening up, you're gonna have people coming out of trainings and stuff, and especially with like Dustin Rhodes opening up a school, and there's a lot more places. Thunder Rosa's got her school going. You'll see more stuff. I think it'll be okay.
Oh yeah, but I think this year with the collective that GCW is putting on, this is going to be the first year I can remember. Well, I'm not counting last year, but this is the first year I can remember that Gabe hasn't had like Evolve shows and Dragon's Gate USA and all of that during Mania week. This is going to be the first time that you're seeing that. I don't know. Ring of Honor hasn't said if they're going to do shows, but right now it's really weird to me that they're doing usually anniversary shows are always in Las Vegas. And it's weird to me that, they're doing an anniversary show and there's no crowd and it's not Las Vegas. Yeah. So it's a little weird to me, but it is what it is. But it's going to be interesting to see who's going to really step up and who doesn't. So it'll be very interesting to see, because a lot of these people are running. I keep seeing there's even these weird little promotions that are flying their, stupid shindy out there, and they're going to run a show. Well, we saw that happen in Orlando, and boy, that was a shit show with a lot of things. So it'll be very interesting to see what is going to happen. Yeah. So, will they go to WWE? No. And then Tony Khan, it's like, okay, well, I don't see people now, like, there's some who are like, oh yeah, I want to go to AEW because, he takes care of their people. Yeah, but it's clear now, if you're not what he likes, you're not going to do anything. Well, there's that, and they're not signing but in flocks either. You know what I mean? You get one or two. But they never really did, except for the beginning. Yeah. So we'll see how it plays out. We'll see how it goes. I think that's about all we have for tonight. What? Producer? Broken Skull. Yeah, Sasha did a Broken Skull sessions with Stone Cold. It was really good. Check it out. I don't know if there's anything in there specifically I want to shout out other than it was fantastic.
The way she talked about the locker room is really cool.
Yeah, she talked about the locker room when she came in versus now, and I thought that was really interesting, fascinating. So I would say check it out. I think that's all we got. I think, Amanda, we'll see you next Thursday, right?
Oh, yeah, you'll see me next Thursday because we have to talk about Shaq.
Yep. Shaq is going to be in a match against Cody. We're going to see how that goes. We're going to see how they prepare for Revolution as it's coming up. NXT, I'm sure, is going to have a bunch of crazy stuff. I didn't even see what they're booking yet, but
Yeah,
I'm
I
excited
haven't
for it
seen
already.
anything either. But all I know is I need to see some Cameron Grimes shit, and I'm gonna have to go download the USA app now.
Do that
Thank
right
you for
now because I
sharing that.
told you a
I'm gonna
couple
do
of
it.
weeks back about it too, and you said the same thing. So right now, as
Okay.
we sign off, go download the USA app, log in with your
Okay.
Hulu credentials, and see if you can't.
I want to
go
see this
through it.
promo. Damn it! I want to see the $1 Million Man promo. I have to.
It's like 3 different segments, so just keep
Oh,
watching.
Oh,
So
yeah. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. You know, I think
Yeah.
that's what AEW is missing for me. But I guess the promos that they're doing have no interest to me, and I'm like,
Yeah.
just keep that shit on BTE.
yeah, leave
you
it on
know,
BTE.
Leave it on BTE. You know, I can live without that. But things like, I don't know, they showed a video. Oh yeah, we didn't talk about this. A video of them dragging Darby in the desert in the body bag.
Oh,
And then,
yeah.
you know, Sting came out with a body bag and it was Hook in there. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
that kind of shit is better than, you know, I don't need to hear about Luke Gallows' large penis.
that's a good point. He
Just-
does talk about it every chance he gets.
Yeah.
I do think that what was it? Justin said it's gonna be a disaster. The Shaq match. Remember when they did the Crackle Barrel match and it had all those like biscuits ringside on barrels? I hope they do a Papa John's match for this one, or just do
No.
it like make it a Shaq match, right? So you have like a tub of icy hot on the outside of the ring. You got a barrel with Papa
Okay.
John pizzas on top, and then you also have a whole bowl, like a giant vat of Frosted Flakes.
He does Frosted
then-
Flakes.
He does Frosted Flakes now too. Yo,
He does
Shaq
Carnival
is.
Cruises. That's new because I saw this one the other day. So you can,
Well, you can have a captain's
inflatable-
hat on when he walks out.
Yeah. I can
Yeah.
see that.
So
Yeah,
absolutely.
But no, you can't have the icy hot. Let me tell you why. Because all the luchadors would steal that. Pentagon and Phoenix, Fuego del Sol, they're all going to take that shit. Because that's what.
Hell yeah,
luchadors
that's why they
like.
brought in Shaq. They need that discount, dude. They're trying to get some free
No,
icy
they
hot.
don't need. No, Shaq would be
Yes.
all. No. I just need to line my pocket a little bit more. No. But that I
No,
think
he's
that
gonna have a
match is
bath
gonna
of icy hot, and we're gonna cover it next week here on episode 1 of Wrestling on the Rocks. Guys,
Bring your
check us out at
icy hot.
wrestlingontherocks.com. Yeah, bring your icy hot, bring your Papa John's, bring your Kellogg's. We're gonna be here to talk Shaq next week. You can find us
Shaq-a-mania.
at WOTR the show, at Wrestling on the Rocks on Instagram. I'm at Ref Marsh. Amanda, tell people where they can find you.
You guys can find me at Ms. Amanda Jane, and apparently every Thursday now. So,
Every
haha.
Thursday now. That's a good point. Justin Time's completely right. Shaq does everything. It's just like how Marsh wanted Garza to fuck everyone. It's true. Garza's got a new smoking jacket. Now I'm ready for it. I'm primed. Now you got Shaq coming in. I'm ready to buy everything he's got.
He needs to do Tiger Balm. I prefer Tiger Balm to Icy Hot.
You should do Gorilla Glue. Do it all, man.
He does. Does he do Gorilla Glue?
I don't care. I hope he does. But we're
Well,
going
he
to
better
find out
come
about
dressed
it
as a
next
general.
week.
If he does not come dressed as a general, I want my money back, Tony Khan.
Oh, that's a good point. He should be general.
Mhm.
Guys, thank you for coming through. Thank you for grabbing a stool, pouring a drink, and hanging out with your drinking buddies, your wrestling buddies. We'll see you guys actually back on Tuesday with me and Kevlar talking SmackDown and Monday Night Raw. Thank you guys for coming through. That's last call.
Hey, producer lady here. Thanks for tuning in. Continue to support us or buy us a drink by following and putting the I in subscribe on Twitch. Or subscribe and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to us. Cheers!
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.